Yeah, today's stream, basically, I'll talk about everything that kind of went on while I was there. Just fair warning. I actually had a really good time. For a lot of reasons, it was like a very positive experience for me. Like, it really was. And I'm going to talk about why that is the case. I've got a really good run of not getting emotional on stream. It's like 4 years now. And I really want to continue it, but I can't guarantee it because it was such a positive experience that it did make me very emotional by the time I got to the end of it. I wasn't expecting that at all. So I'm going to kind of like go over everything that's on my mind. It might not be the most coherent and like well spaced out, but I'll try and do my best to make it, make sense. And then we'll get into talking about like all the incidents that kind of happened there, because there was some stuff behind the scenes, obviously, that wasn't great. You know, we all know about the stage invasion now, and I didn't want to give that oxygen on the broadcast. I said to everyone in the green room, like, let's not talk about it. Fuck it, because I know in 48 hours, everyone's going to be talking about the CS again. So I'm not going to fucking talk about this on air. And let's all have that solemn pledge, Power Rangers, hands in the middle kind of thing. But I'll talk about it here, because it was a weird situation. And obviously there was some other stuff. We had there was a Gowles thing going on in the background, and there was like one or two other kind of things which were kind of like funny, and so I'm gonna try and like remember it all. But let's just start with this. Obviously, I used to do a lot of event work, right? I used to, obviously be a host. My first game wasn't even Counter-Strike. My first game was StarCraft 2. And that was the first time I was ever a host in anything. Basically, I knew a guy who ran DreamHack, and he was a guy called Robert Olin. I obviously knew everybody in the scene from being a journalist, and Robert Olin basically said, how would you like to be a host? StarCraft 2 was very stagnant at the time because there was a tournament every week. So the idea of having like some guy just come in and be different was sort of a good idea. So they threw me in at the deep end, essentially. Can't even remember what my first event was. I want to say I think it might have been DreamHack Moscow, which we couldn't, but maybe there was one or two before that. But anyway, so I started in StarCraft 2, and then eventually I got asked, by 2014, I was doing Counter-Strike, CSGO broadcasts, and then obviously worked my way up to, hosting like E-League and doing a bunch of other things. But I want to kind of be honest here and just say I didn't really have a lot of fun at events in my entire career. I always found them really stressful and really miserable. And there was a variety of reasons for that, some self-inflicted, some beyond my control. And generally, the things that used to kind of bum me out was among the talent pool, you would always have one talent that essentially made themselves the de facto tyrant of, like the group. And so you weren't just having to please the people that hired you and please the audience. You would have to please the tyrant of the group as well. And that tyrant has shifted at various key points. And I nearly became that, I think, when E-League was happening, because I was the employee and I was the one being asked, who do we hire? We'll listen to you. And I was like, this is a bit fucked up. I don't want to be that guy. But I also wanted it to succeed. So anyway, I used to have to deal with the tyrant more often than not. And it fucking sucked. I mean, Columbus was one of the best events I ever saw with my own eyes, with the exception of maybe Boston. And I spent, in the green room when we weren't on camera, no one was talking to each other. We were just all in separate corners. Green room vibes have rarely been immaculate. And what I realized this time was I was the asshole. I had spent the last 2-3 years basically becoming terminally online without realizing it. Because Stockholm was so stressful, and I talked about it with all the PGL crew when I was there, Like, Stockholm was a fucking nightmare. I mean, everything we said at the time on, like, By the Numbers, the Green Room edition, obviously it's all true. Stand by all of that. But there was, like, additional circumstances that no one really knew at the time. Like, for example, PGL thought maybe the major might get cancelled. And when obviously, if you remember, they had to move it. You know, we had to change it at the last minute because of all the COVID rules and everything, and there was a chance it might not be happening. I think they'd only just produced TI like the week before, and so they were plugging and dropping out. They were producing an Apex Legends event at the same time, which was what was causing a lot of the tech issues, because people were moving the fucking dials for what they needed for Apex, and then not setting them back or making a note of what they changed, and it was carnage. And we were doing all of this in a fucking bubble where, honestly, the primary concern was like not breaking any laws or any rules, and we were all having to check in and out. Stockholm was miserable. It was about as miserable a time as you can have at an event. And obviously it was made all the more miserable by the end of the event with the fucking allegation that I was in some sort of old boys club and fucking controlling things, and that we'd somehow betrayed James Bardolph, and just all this like weird fucking drama at the end, when it was just like we just felt that the people who should have got the semi-finals were the people who casted all the events, and Jason was that one, you know, and James Bardolph had been doing Apex and hadn't partnered up with DDK. It just sort of made sense as a group. We didn't even think it would be a drama, you know. But anyway, I had such a miserable time at Stockholm. I was like, well, that's me done with events. You'll remember it. You know, I retired very much publicly. And again, even though I'd had problems with PGL at that time, I want to make it clear, they asked me to work Antwerp. And I said, are you fucking dizzy, blood? You've got Shocks, who is Belgian. You just hire her and she'll do a great show. You don't even need me. So I turned down Antwerp and I thought that was it. And then I spent these, last few years kind of like redefining my content and who I am. And somewhere in that, I had become really terminally online. And so let me also just talk a little bit about how you get there, how you end up becoming terminally online, and how, sometimes you don't really realize it's happening to you. So obviously, look, without rehashing stuff, obviously, Maria passing away was like the worst thing that sort of had ever happened to me, and I didn't handle it very well at the start, and I didn't, I tried to work my way out of the PTSD I was suffering from, because I want to make it clear, and I don't want to be disrespectful or graphic, but there's a world of difference between hearing that someone you care about has died and being the one that finds them dead and having to deal with all the subsequent fallout of that. During Christmas, I had to call her family and break the news, and it took me a long time to get out of that. That haunts me. The thorough horror of all of the things that happened. I tried to deal with it, but as best as I could. But the pandemic didn't make it possible. I wanted to go to groups. I wanted to talk to people and get better and try and work through things. But that wasn't an option in the pandemic. It's why, I understand the impact the pandemic had on people's mental health. There was nowhere for me to go. I came back to Britain because I had to. Because I didn't just, I lost Maria. I got fucked over by a startup at the same time. I lost my job.
Go fuck yourself. You old dog shit.
Should have turned that off, really. That kind of underscores the emotional impact of what I'm trying to say. But thank you, Overdrive. So I lost my house. I lost my job. I lost the right to stay in America, and I ended up, having to come back to Britain. And I was just stuck in an empty house. I was just stuck. My stuff was on a boat. You remember it. You can go back and look. You can look at the videos from that time. I'm just in an empty room, and my hair's all long and greasy and grown out. My skin's bad, and I'm not looking after myself. Anyway, at that point, it was like really hard to want to do anything again. I built myself up to a point where I felt I could go back and do an event and be around people, and that was Stockholm in 2021. And then Stockholm was a disaster, and I hated it. And so I retreated. I retreated back to what I know, like, 4 walls, the stream, the community, doing the videos. And obviously in that time, a lot of big things changed with esports. For example, the Chinese encroachment into the space, and a lot of people were exposed for being hypocrites when, it came to the Uyghur Muslim situation in Xinjiang, obviously then later the Saudi Arabian takeover, and people who were nominally, pro-LGBT are suddenly working with people who are certainly not nominally pro-LGBT. And because I still wasn't 100%, I tunneled in on the fights. I tunneled in on the battles. And what I realize is, although they might be righteous causes, the way I approached it was sort of no different to a lot of the people online I would ordinarily criticize, in the sense that I did things that were out of character for me. For instance, with the Talking Counter podcast Spotify deal, when I heard they were being paid by ESL, out of an ESL bank account, and ESL were using that as part of their deliverables for 12 episodes as a test sponsorship, I could have just as easily gone behind the scenes and gone, guys, look, please, you've not communicated this clearly enough, in my opinion, and you should publicly change that. And if you do, I would just rest easy because I wouldn't have to say anything. And I've got the means to do it. I know Moses personally. I know Chad personally. I know Yanko personally. But I didn't. And the reason I didn't is because I become terminally online. And instead, I wanted to put them to a purity test. And I hate people who do that ordinarily. But I'd become so blinkered in the crusade to try and get the Saudis out of esports that what I had done was I'd put my friends in a position that wasn't very nice or pleasant. And I essentially set up a scenario where I made myself the arbiter of their behavior. And if they displeased me, and I was going to light them up about it publicly, which, that's not who I am. So why am I doing that? So anyway, I go to the event and I've become so oblivious to what I do online and how it affects people. And I went to the event and it was, hello, actions, meet consequences. So initially I was like, yo, Jason, great to see you. Wasn't a warm reaction initially. I was like, that's interesting. All right, no problem. Chad isn't in the room at all. And obviously Yanko isn't at the event. And it's like, okay, we'll see how that goes. And so we get into the actual show. And just before we do that, I'm like, yo, Jace, are you pissed off at me? And he was like, yeah, why wouldn't I be? And I was like, well, what about? And he said, dude, why didn't you just say you wanted us to put out a better statement? Why did you not just come to me about it instead of making a video first? I was like, yeah, I don't know why I didn't, actually. When we hashed it out, I said something that was so excruciatingly embarrassing, it really got the gears grinding upstairs. Jason said, why did you put us to that test? And I said, because I wanted you to pass it. And then I was like, okay, I've gone a bit mental. And then Chad came up and said, you've been attacking me online for the best part of a year now. Why? And I said, well, I don't think I have attacked you for a year. And he said, well, there's been a year's worth of fallout from it. And I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, what do you think happens when you do a stream where you drag my face onto the Saudi flag and have me chasing a bag of money around the Saudi Arabian flag, right? And I'm like, well, it's funny, isn't it? But he went, but no, because what happens next is everybody messages me saying, why do you support the deaths of Yemeni children? And people have been throwing stuff in my face. You've made me the face of Saudi Arabian money in that instance. And I thought, yeah, I did actually do that. And the reality is, Sponge hasn't done anything worse than anyone else who wants to, work with ESL. He just hasn't. I'm treating him like he's an ESL executive, like he's the one who signed the Saudi Arabian deals, like he's the one who's working with the Esports World Cup. And look, I started this whole Sir Chad of Baggington thing, and I'll just be honest, right? And again, for someone who hates it when people do this, after the Malta thing, when Chad didn't come to meet me, and we talked about that, and he apologized, and I accepted it because I caught feelings. I caught feelings, and I came back, and I immediately lacked the impulse control to like just think about it. It was the first ESL Pro League. He was producing the show. You know, he was under a lot of pressure for it to be good. You know, he was partially producing the show, I should add. And, you know, the CS2 story was this big thing that like was cast over. And so I could have been a bit more sensitive for someone I've known since like 2007, right? But I immediately just went, oh, I've come to Malta and you won't fucking meet me, Richard Lewis. You won't come and sit with your old buddy? Right, fuck you. You're Sir Chad Baggington as soon as I get back home. Like, that's, like, unbelievably petty and childish. I mean, like, not just for, like, a man of my age. It would be, like, unbelievably childish and petty for, like, a teenager to do that. But I did it anyway because I caught feelings. And so I made Chad the face of something that he really isn't. It's not about giving everybody a pass. I call my friends out historically and I hold them accountable. But what I did here was I circumnavigated the friendship part and went straight to the public morally grandstanding part. And you have to ask yourself why you do things like that. And you do things like that when you are disconnected from people and you are plugged into the internet and you are using the internet for dopamine and sustenance and meaning and reason. But it's people that give you that. If you ever feel like you want to bypass the people to go straight to the Twitter account or the Insta account or the YouTube video or the manifesto, you're probably you know, they call it radicalization, you know, but it's not that. It's like you're just becoming terminally online. And I did that in 3 or 4 instances to people that I all have access to. So unequivocally, I want to apologize to Jason. This is someone I love dearly, and I shouldn't have done that to him. He was there for me when Maria passed. It's a wretched way to repay a friendship. I want to apologize to Chad because I know actually deep down he's not financially driven at all. He loves CS. He loves the scene. He's given his life to it, and I honestly think he feels lost. He would feel lost without it in his life. And yet, despite that, the pressure he's received the last year and the hate he's received the last year, which I inarguably contributed to, has even made him consider continuing to be in the space. And I feel terrible about that. And obviously to Yanko as well, but we hashed it out privately on WhatsApp, and so we're all good. I don't know if me and Chad can ever get back to where we were, but I'll do the work. Because he's a good person and the scene needs him. And me and Jason, I think, are in a better spot right now. And I hope when I go to America in the next couple of days, I'm able to visit him and visit his house and see his family. Because I've not even met his kids yet, you know. So the other thing I want to talk about as well, actions meet consequences. Another thing happened. It was the first event I worked with Scrawny, and a lot of you won't remember this, but Scrawny used to be called the Scrawny Gamer. And he rose to prominence by, he posted I think it was like just a pistol round or something. He posted a pistol round in a pub game where he did the commentary of the round as it happened live through in-game chat. And he uploaded it and said, listen, I think I could be a commentator. What do you guys think? And everybody upvoted it and went, wow, you've got talent, you've got the voice, you know, 'cause obviously, right? And then once he got that validation, he posted another video and said, I've been working on it, what do you think? And then he posted another video. And listen, how could anyone ever have a problem with that, right? How could anyone ever have a problem with that? But me, then this is even before I went through all the stuff that you might give me a pass for being bitter. This is before that. I went on by the numbers, and I just said we just brought it up on the podcast, and I was saying to Thorin, like, get over yourself, stop being an attention-seeking fucking loser, and, you know, we get it now, okay, you know, and, like, I was really discouraging and offensive and rude, and I didn't have to be that person. I could have reached out to him on Reddit and said, you are really good, like, want to give you some feedback? You want to do a cast together sometime? Want to come on the stream? But I didn't do that. Instead, I chose to like be a piece of shit. And I don't know why. I don't think I am like that. But I did. But the actions prove otherwise. And anyway, obviously, I'm a huge fan of Connor and his work, and a huge fan of Launders and their work, and I think they are one of the best duos, if not the best duo, right now, and I love listening to them. And this was the first event I met with Connor, and Connor had been saying, like, I can't wait to meet you in person. It's going to be so good. And he was so warm and so kind and so loving and so genuinely happy to see me. All I could think about in that moment was a timeline where he took my criticism to heart and stopped casting. And we wouldn't have had this incredible talent in the scene because I would have driven him out for no other reason other than for 5 minutes it made me feel big and funny on a podcast. And I was just sat there like, that timeline would have fucking sucked. And here he is. And you want to know how nice a guy he is? I'd said that to his face, and I said, I'm really humbled right now because of what I did to you. And he said, actually, I needed the reality check because I was starting to get big-headed about my ability. And if you hadn't have brought me back down to earth, I might not have worked as hard as I did and became as good as what I am. And that level of forgiveness and grace, I don't deserve that. But he's a class act. So that all happened within, like, the first week. We went from being the only problem in the green room this event was me, and everyone else was chill as fuck and nice and didn't deserve to feel any negative emotions because of my presence. So I did everything I could in the moment to apologize and try and make it up to everybody, and with a vow in future I wouldn't choose the fucking I'm so good, I'm so pure, I'm so righteous fix over friendships. And I would do better, that I would try and, like, if I felt my friends were doing something wrong, I would try and privately guide them in the right direction. I wouldn't score cheap points off them anymore. And that if we could rebuild trust with each other, that's how it would be handled in future. So there was a huge amount of catharsis, like, coming in. And then, obviously, just kind of skipping to the end, obviously got chosen to do the final, which I was surprised about. I got to throw to Harry and Hugo. Now, let me just tell you, I hope nobody minds. I don't want to talk out of school and reveal green room secrets, because the green room has to be a sacred place, right? Where people can be themselves. And, we don't allow strangers in the green room. We don't allow filming in the green room. But I just want to say that this is the difference with this generation of talent and previous generations of talent. When PGL came and told us Harry and Hugo were getting the major, everybody got up and gave them a hug. All the casters did. They were, like, clapping. Everyone was, like, so happy for them. And I've never seen that before. Usually, people, they go, oh, you're doing the final, yeah, no problem. Or the popular duo says, give them a final this time. But it wasn't like that. Everyone was just fucking so happy that they got theirs, I've never been around a talent group like that before. Like, there wasn't a single negative emotion in the room by week 2. I like saying all the bad shit was coming from online Richard, So getting to throw to them in the final, because obviously, like, we did the fucking NARMRs where I was, like, sat in a shirt and wearing boxer shorts during the pandemic, getting to throw to Harry and Hugo, because, like, I remember when that event ended, and on the nights, because it was NA time, we would all be up so late, we would play, like, CS together, and at the end of the event, like, Harry and Hugo were saying, it's, like, so sad we'll never get to do a real event with each other. And I was like, yeah, it sucks, but, you got a bright future, it'll be cool. So I was just thinking about that when I got to throw to them, in a major final, like, how lucky am I to be here to do this? And how lucky am I to be here to see this? And so that was why I did that little monologue bit at the start before I threw over to them. I just wanted to underline how big a deal this is. And how, like, a real small group of people get to do what they get to do. And it's no secret, I've said in the past, I think ESL criminally underused these guys. I think the community underappreciated this guys. I think their talent was always apparent. But we started back in, UK esports, working in Leicester in a small studio, ESL UK, going to like fucking multiplayer iSeries and Epic Lands. And now you're one of like, 20 names that have done a major final or something. So just a big deal. It wasn't lost on me. And again, the word I used, and I used it to Harry. I know he's in the chat. I can see him. Love to you, brother. The word I used repeatedly, and I got to meet Dinko as well. He's in the chat. Another young guy with a bright future. The word I used was like it was super healing. Like, it was healing for me. I'd lost sight of who I am. Like, I'm a sociable guy. Like, I'm good with people, I'm not bitter by definition. I'm not an optimist. I am a cynic. But there's a world of difference between being cynical and being bitter. And I just think everything I went through, and because I felt underappreciated by the community, and I think a lot of my behaviors had been misrepresented, and because Stockholm sucked and I withdrew, I think I really let the bitterness creep in, and it started to inform everything I was doing, And I gotta say, it shouldn't make the difference, maybe, but obviously, again, when I went out there, I'd convinced myself I would be in physical danger, right? I'd become utterly convinced that the world in which I operated was one where everybody despised me. And if I ever was out in public, I would be killed or assaulted and I genuinely believed that, like 100%. I went to the major literally thinking that might happen to me because everyone hates me so much that if I go into the crowd, like, and anyone notices me, it's going to be like, fucking Dawn of the Dead. They're all just going to descend on me, like, tear me in half, and I'm going to be throwing my intestines out going, choke on him! Choke on him! I made peace. I made peace with the idea I might get killed at this event. Like, how mentally ill? Like, for real? I actually think I was, like, right on the threshold of some sort of psychosis. Like, I was so convinced. And anyway, I went to the event and not a single negative interaction. And I mean, not one. People coming up to me in Astralis shirts saying, thank you for not letting the executives continue to, like, ruin this organization. Would you sign my shirt? Would you sign my book? I had some Brazilian fans come up, and they said, you probably don't want to sign my shirt because I'm a Brazilian fan. And I was like, what? No. Of course I will. Obviously, I will. There was a guy said to me, can I give you a gift? And I thought, here it is. He's going to stab me. It's so mental. And he said, I work in Popeyes. And on my break, I listen to your shit. Right? I work in Popeyes, and I listen to your shit. So he said, I've got you a pair of company Popeyes chicken sandwich socks, right? And I wore these during the final, by the way, if you're in the chat, if you see this on YouTube. I want you to know I wore these very socks during a major final. I'm not going to wash them. They're going to go straight into the pile of memorabilia. So why do they look dirty? Because I literally took them off and walked around my fucking garden in them. So when I got back, because a fox had got into the bins. So anyway, I wore them during the final. So and they're never getting washed. So anyway, all the interactions with all of the fans were just fucking crazy, like crazy positive. Everyone was so nice and kind, and everyone was saying, like, you're the GOAT. I love your work. Your content helps me get through my job. And like, there was one negative tweet from someone in the crowd. I was just like, oh, these are the real margins. What else happened that was amazing? Well, Henry, my old friend Henry, did his documentary, the Memories one. Which was like Tom Diablo Newman, who's an old Call of Duty player, an old friend of mine. He produced it. Henry narrated it. Red Bull funded it. If you haven't watched it yet, please go. It's really cool. And they had a premiere for it in a cinema. And I went there going, well, no one's going to invite me to anything. I was invited to everything. Like, I got to go to the premiere, got to see Henry make a speech in a cinema We're all sat on these like lay-back chairs, free drinks, watching a documentary. Everyone's applauding every time someone comes on the screen. I was hanging out with Forrest. Forrest was there. I haven't seen Patrick in ages. Get Right came later to the event. Christopher was there. I got to hang out with him. It was sick. It was really sick. It was one of the coolest events I've ever been to. And I got to see someone I love dearly in the form of Henry get like a lot of love and appreciation. And everyone there was so nice. You want to know something really funny? Let me show you this photo just to prove it happened. Because this will surprise you. That giant bald man is me. And this is Astralis staff, the one in the leather jacket, Nicola Nyholm. No joke. At that premiere, right? Came up to me to say hello. And I said, yeah, good to see you. And we had like a pretty long conversation about Astralis and the future and, you know, how like they understand the game we're all in. And I said, yeah, and hope you understand the game I'm in. Really productive. Just, I don't know, don't really hate the guy. And also he did a really cool thing. He had tickets so he could have come to the final, and I think he gave them away like some volunteers at the Red Cross, like some teenage volunteers who really wanted to go. And you go, oh, okay. And, you know, well, all right. Just so weird. And, you know, he gets recognized now because he's on like the Danish Dragons Den. So there was one negative, no, it wasn't a negative interaction. It was kind of a funny one. I'll throw it in here because we're talking about Astralis. The new guy, Casper Strauber, after I'd hung out with Nicola Naomi, like came up to me. This is the other funny part. I got invited to HLTV Confirmed Live. And I was like, what? They were like, yeah, we've got you a VIP seat in the front. I was like, oh, okay. Sat in the front. They referenced me repeatedly on stream. People in the crowd again. Oh, God, Richard, so glad you're here. Want to hang out? And I sat there and watched the device segment, obviously. And after the event, Casper Strauber came up and he tried to alpha me a little bit. And he said, oh, I understand that you like Astralis now, drinking with my, you know, boss and stuff. And he like, you know, he put his hand out and shook it just a little bit too firm. And I said, yeah, mate, yeah. I said, I'll tell you what, I like you a lot less after 40 minutes of fucking bullshit, where the only minute of truth was when Device slipped up and called them Stabby and Yown. I said, you know, you're a performance coach. You got to know this is a total fucking waste of everyone's time. But, you know, glad you're here. Have a nice day. And then I patted him on the back just a little bit too hard. And then walked off. And next to me was Note, who saw that from HLTV. And he was just like, trying not to burst out laughing. Like, because obviously I'm still not the one. You don't test me. But that was it. That was as bad as it got the whole event. And I kind of think that's funny as fuck. What else happened that made me get a renewed outlook on life? Get Right, when he was on stage, literally shouted up to the stands and said, it's great to have a legend like Richard Lewis back. I was like, wow, holy shit. Get Right said that. That's fucking crazy. I waved at him, which had me in the unfortunate there's an unfortunate photograph of me where I'm on a balcony with my right arm in the air. Yep, optically terrible. But I promised I was waving at Get Right. No doubt that photo's going to get trotted out in 5 years. What else? Dude, Neo is like one of my fucking heroes. And I saw him after the Spirit game, the quarterfinal, which was like the best quarterfinal at a major ever. And he was like buying a beer, and I was like, mate, let me get you that, mate. I know that was a very stressful series. And Neo said, it's just great to have you back at events. You're like the GOAT at what you do. I was like, this is Neo saying this to me. And he was really kind and nice, and we had a beer, and then he went and did his work. And then Simple came up to me at our after party, and he said, you know, so this is after Navi 1, and he said, listen, good to see you. Can't wait to see you at events. And Simple fucking, you know, gave me a hug. I was like, what the players like me? Surely the players don't like me. I shit on them all the time. But here's the one that really got me in the fields. Fucking last day I'm in there. I'm actually going to pour a fucking drink for this. The 8 weeks sober before the major were a good call. There was a lot of drinking. Hooksy came up to me at the after party. No shit. And I saw him, and obviously I was thinking, uh-oh. I've banged on Hoopsy quite a bit, haven't I, down the years. And he's going to say something, or he's going to throw a glass of milk in my face, or just something. And it's fair. You know what? In that moment, I'd had such a good healing event. I went, I'm going to give this to him. Whatever he says, I'm going to take it on the chin. And I'm not going to be a child, and I'm not going to react. And so he came up to me, and I said, oh, how you doing, mate? And he said, well, you know, a bit disappointed. We're not in the finals. And, you know, and I said, well, look, mate, I'm really sorry about the pressure that you've been under, and I know I've contributed to that, and it would be disingenuous for me to pretend otherwise. But I just want to say it to your face, and I was going to say this if you won the event, which I believed you would. Like, just remember that whatever I think about you, I've got opinions, but you've got trophies. And my opinions don't change that. And he said, listen, I understand. I just want to say that whatever happens to me, I genuinely believe CS is better with you in it. He was nice enough to say that. No joke. After everything. And I even criticized him for his reaction to the Jane PC crash during this major, and he still said that. So, all right, that'll strip down your fucking ego a little bit and make you reassess. You know, like if you color out the lines, you know, sometimes you can go beyond what's within the reasonable remit of criticism and what isn't. And as I said, these are all true stories. I'm not making any of this shit up. This is why it hit me like a fucking spiritual experience, like for real. Other stuff, got to work with Shocks. That was like huge for me. I think she's like the GOAT of hosting, or pretty close to it. You know, maybe her or Golden Boy, or maybe Puckett. I don't know. And like Shocks was so good to work with and so much fun. And, you know, I was making sure she was having like a good time. Wanted her to feel welcome, and just, you know, she was just great at what she did. Watching her segments back, and just loved her energy, and loved what she did. And I know it's tough that Freya wasn't there. I messaged Freya to apologize, because I kind of feel like it took a job from her by, I shouldn't be here, you know, like, but she was also super cool. She was just like, look, we all know the game, you know, when you're a host, there's a limited number of spots. And that's just how it goes. The good news is, obviously, now that the circuit's opened up, we know that there's going to be loads of work to go around now. And I can't do, like, ESL, or won't, but I will do PGL. So anyway, even at the very last after party, I saw loads of people. Like, I old school Danes. I saw Risk, who was working there with TV. 2.dk. Here's the other thing. HLTV invited me to their private party as well. In all the years I've been sparring with those guys, I've actually never met Martin in person. We've been in the same room, we've been at the same events, but we've never talked to each other. And they had a private party, and I went to it, and I said, they're not going to let me in. And not only I went with everybody else who was on the list, they'd added me as a VIP, like late edition. And I got in, and immediately I saw people I hadn't seen in like 6 years, like from just various levels of esports. And, you know, obviously Simple was there. I didn't talk to him at that particular moment because, you know, he was obviously lots of people want to talk to Simple. I didn't want to interrupt. But I saw people like who are now working at like companies, and, you know, like I knew them back when they were like managers or coaches, and now they're like performance coaches, and, you know, they work at Anders' company, Skybox and stuff. And I was, again, like super nervous, like living in the corners of my eyes, like I'm at the HLTV party now. This is like Red Wedding territory. This is when I get got, right? But no, everyone again, oh shit, Richard, do you remember me? I haven't seen you in 6 years. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's like people genuinely happy to see me. I was like, what is happening? It was so surreal, because I'd constructed a universe where I was only going to get hate, and I was in danger. And not only was I not in danger, I got nothing but love and adoration. Like, people showered me with praise and kindness. And it just broke that veneer in my brain. It just broke it, in the sense that I couldn't be mad or bitter anymore. I was like, wow, this is fucking great. I needed this. I needed this in my life. I needed to feel this again. Haven't felt it in years. I've been cooped up indoors, ranting about all these terrible things, and I haven't focused on anything positive for so long that I've become a bitter one-track record that only my most devoted fans could probably stomach to listen to. And another thing, right, like I lost a lot of weight before the event, and I'm a bit puffy in the face now than when I went away, but this is just from drinking. I actually weighed myself when I got back, and I was the same weight, and I ate crap, and I drank, but I'm the same weight when I got back than when I went away, which I was unbelievably surprised about. And, part of that was I was going to the gym during the event. There was like a hotel gym, and I was super worried about going to the gym because I'm like, I'm going to walk in and all the ripped players are going to be there, and they're going to like take pictures of me, and I'm going to have to like send it in to Joey Swole to get some fucking revenge. And I get into the gym, and the vibe was great. I got in there, like rain on a treadmill, warming up. Hey, good to see you. I get to the back. Yo, Carrigan, how you doing? Oh, good, you know. And it was like, Rain was there, Carrigan was there, Alexi B was there, Blair was there, Maniac was there, I'm there, and we're just working out and shooting the shit. And it was so cool. It was just great. It was like really fun. Pass me that. Yeah, well, when you finished. So, great hotel, isn't it? And it was just nice. Again, I didn't really... Well, I mean, Pimp wasn't in the gym because Pimp was going back home and he's preparing because he's like going to enter the World Championships, which are being held where he lives for cycling. He's got a wild card to enter into cycling. And so get this is how hard Pimp worked at this event. He was finishing his show and then going back, and he would do like a race on a bike at night and then come in the next day. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Pimp was out of this world, like in terms of fucking how much effort he was putting into that. And while we're talking about Pimp, I'll say this, obviously, again, I think now that I'm back in the game, like how awkward it must be, because everyone's like, oh, hey, Richard, rate the talent at the event. And I'm talking like I'm a fan because I'm never going to work the event again. And I said I wouldn't have Pimp in the past at a major. And then Pimp reached out to me and said, what can I change? And I gave him some feedback, and he actually took it on board. And then now we were working together at the major. And I said to him, like, we sat down before the show, and he said, right, I want to do the show like how you want to do the show. And I said, okay, this is what we do. I want Spicy Pimp. I want String Pimp. I want Twitter Pimp. I want you to I said, if you're like 80% on an opinion, just pretend you're 100. Just trust me on this. Maybe it's arrogance and hubris. I like to think I've been cleansed of a little bit of that. But I think he did some of his best work at this major. I think he did really good work. I thought him, Maniac, Blair... I didn't get a work desk with Jason, sadly, the entire event. But I thought those guys turned it up to 11, and I thought the desk segments were really good. I would even go so far as to say probably one of the best segments, desk segments that's ever been done at a major, might be that 1 hour we had to fill after the show match. We did like 1 hour and 10 or something, and we had to just keep talking until the game started. And I think it was pretty fucking good, actually. I think it flew by, and we were doing it with, again, I told the production how I wanted it. I said, we're not hitting graphics because we have to. You're listening to what I'm saying and what the analysts are saying, and you are going to add graphics you believe are pertinent and appropriate to the conversation, and you will add them whenever you want. And you don't even have to let me know they're coming. Just throw them in for the people at home, and let's just keep it, like it's just a light touch, just a little bit of color, just so they're not staring at our faces constantly. I thought it was super compelling in the way we ramped up our energy the closer and closer we got to the game. Thank you for Nuggets. Yeah, I did wear suits. They were tailored. We did have one negative thread the day we all turned up and wore tan. And people said none of those suits are tailored. They are. I just think I'm maybe a little. I have a because I'm fat and I'm slimming down, I am still a bit lumpy and bumpy in terms of like there's some things you can't hide. And tan is such a risky color anyway, and we all turned up wearing it. So we definitely should never all tan on a desk. I think we can agree with that. So yeah, I guess now we'll talk a little bit about just the broadcast. I just think in terms of a show, the event, everybody brought their fucking A game. Again, not just saying it because I'm a bit sappy now that I got back from this major. I think James Banks, Roundabanks in the chat, I think he did his best work. Actually, some of the best stage hosting I've ever seen him do. Unironically, he actually said something funny to me as well in the green room. This is how good the vibes were. Every major, there's a fan who sends in like, I don't know, it's something like 2,000 euros worth of super expensive Belgian chocolates, and they arrived, and James went, "Oh yeah, mate. We had these in fucking Antwerp as well. Wait till you fucking taste these." And he just said to me, if I go into a diabetic coma, yeah, and die, just say on the desk a round of Banks in the chat. I was like, fuck it. Fair enough, mate. I would. And, you know, as well, I've been mean to Parler, haven't I? And I thought his crowd work was immense. At this show, I thought, you know, he was getting put into possibly the weirdest situation of all because we were using him intermittently, and it was like he never knew what he was going to be getting himself into. And I thought Parler did great. I thought, yeah, his voice was gone by the end, but he was going full send every segment. And, you know, me and him got to hang out a little bit this event, and it was really good and really healing. And I apologized to him, and I said, I am sorry. Like, I lose sight of the fact that one day I might have to see people again, and it's just like Mean Girls bullshit, and I'm not going to do that anymore. I really mean it. There's battles to fight, but being like bitchy about people, like, this doesn't achieve anything other than cheap laughs. I just don't want that to dictate my energy or my efforts anymore. Like, I can be better than that, and I want to be. I genuinely do. So, and you know, the other thing, I just felt like there's also another world where I never got the chance to come back and have this experience. You know, I remember me and Sylvia, we had to make up. You know, he was very upset with some of the feedback, but even though he offered me Antwerp, it took a while for us to rebuild that relationship. And I just thought to myself, like, I could be at home now, the same asshole tweeting about this event in a bitter way and being mean to my friends and mean to people that are doing like great work in like really difficult circumstances, or I could be here being part of it. And I want to choose the latter every time now, actually. I don't want to be left out like I had been. Not when I can like take so much joy in seeing, you know, being around Launders. Like, again, Launder's girlfriend came to the event. We all went out and we had dinner, and she was just great. She was just super cool. And me and Launders, like, again, we don't see a lot of each other, even though we've known each other a long time. I genuinely love Launders. He's so warm and interesting and fun to be around. And he, like, organized all these, like, cool dinners for everybody. And, you know, it was like, oh, we were laughing so much about the racist thing, because he was like saying, should I bring the racist thing into the major? I'm going, you're out of your fucking mind, mate. You can't stop trying to reclaim the word racism. Like, and he's going, yeah, but it'd be funny. You can't, blood. We can't do it. But yeah, it's like, you know, if I stay the asshole I was becoming, or maybe even was, I don't get to go to these events and I don't get to see these people, and my life is better when I see these people. So it seems like the solution is pretty apparent, right? Just stop being a fucking prick. It's that simple. You can have these things. So, okay, right, cool. Yeah, job's a good one. I'll also add as well, the response that we got at the end of it was very surprising for me. I was trying to stay off Discord, I stayed off Reddit, and I stayed off HLTV. And then, as I said, the rare times I went on, I saw the tan suit thread, and I think I saw a typical thread, like, it was something like, say what you will about Richard Lewis. It was that. And I was like, oh, okay. It's that again. But I stayed off everything. I had to stay off the Discord because I went into, like, the CS2 channel, and it was just memes. It was just me like holding up disc plates with dicks on it and stuff, and I was like, okay, this is fucking hilarious actually, but I can't have it in my brain when I have to do another like 12 segments for disc plate between now and the end. I can't be thinking like, here's a penis. So we'll do a meme review if we have time. Spoiler, I'm away again. You're gonna get 2 days of streams, and then I'm away again for a few weeks. But I'm gonna take my streaming equipment on the road, and I'll probably do some check-in streams and whatnot. But 'cause this is the other thing. Those who know as well, I'd talk to Maria's family, and we wanna. Me and her always talked about visiting Japan together, and we obviously never got to go. And we always had this like kind of fucked up long-term plan where it was like, when I retire from esports, make my money, I'll go out there, and she'd come as well. And so obviously we're going out to Japan to scatter our ashes out there, which is a promise I made, obviously before all the pandemic lockdowns and everything happened. And I just want 2024 to be like a year of closure for me. I want to leave everything that's been like hanging over me behind, because I haven't really been alive for the last 4 years. I've been super negative. I've been drunk a lot of the time. I've been very narrow focused and closed off, and I'm only really talking like my real life friends and not really everybody else. And I guess what I kind of realized is I have many friends. Like I have made friends in this business. When I say things like, oh, esports has given me nothing, like I'm lying to myself. It's given me fucking so much. It's given me Launders and Scrawny and Hugo and Harry and obviously Monty and Thorin and Anders and Henry and Jason and Yanko and Chad and Alex, and it's like, these people are my friends. Like they are, they really showed that with the grace and the kindness that they gave me, and in a lot of cases, I absolutely didn't deserve it. I hope the next 2 years are going to be awesome. We're all going to get to hang out with each other, and we're all going to travel the world together, and we're all going to work events together. So I want to get this thing that I promised to do. I want to honor this pledge to my best friend, and I want to get on living again. So that's the plan. So unfortunately for you guys, it does mean I'll be back on the road for the next few weeks, but I will try and stream as much as I can during that time. Was there anything else to talk about before we get into the incidents? I guess I should talk about the show. I thought the show was fucking great. Oh, of course. I nearly forgot this part. Yeah, we hung out with Sam. Of course we did. Lots of times. And me and Sam, I won't get into the ins and outs. Sam even got a Reddit hate thread today. I've never known anyone get a hate thread for, I assume, association with me. You can see it says, why the PGL observing was bad. Richard Lewis brought the sewer with him, not again Splinter. That butter churning Sam was there, and they both will work the PGL events. Sam freebie again. Good luck. Don't know what Sam's done. I don't know why he's a butter churner either. But that's pretty fucking funny, honestly. So anyway, yeah, I saw Sam. We got to hang out a bunch. I got to see everyone. I got to see, Jakey, SEO, all the other guys that I came up with. They were observing. I had a couple of nights where I just hung out with the observers, and obviously got to see Sam, which was very good for me because we haven't seen each other in person for a while. And we hung out and we talked about things, and we talked about why he moved away from doing the content and everything else. And I get it, like his reasoning is sound. But that being said, we did say if we ever had like time free, we would just call each other up and we would just record an episode of I Hate It here. And he's like, listen, we'll definitely do there'll be another episode. We don't know when or where, but he said he was open to the idea of just if he was free, he would just record it. So I'm like, cool. So that was really good as well, because it's not like we're not talking. It's just like I was busy, he was busy, and obviously I'm busy with my shit I'm not checking in with people. I can call people up anytime. Like Sam even said it to me. He's like, all you have to do is call me. And I'm like going, yeah, I know, but I I'm not calling people right now, and I don't know why. And he said, well, there you go then. So anyway, that was good. But yeah, anyway, about the show, the actual show of the major, I thought it was like really good. I thought it was a good show. Obviously biased maybe, but I thought it went really well. I mean, I saw a lot of people criticizing production. There were a few things like I don't really know what the causes were, but I think the stream cut out a few times. Someone said that it was something to do with Twitch, but I think it happened on other platforms as well. I have no idea what caused that. Wasn't explained to us internally, and what I read publicly was it was like some sort of tech issue or whatever. And it's a shame because it happened during the final, I think. And I think we would have broke the 2 million barrier if it hadn't. So it could have been a DDoS. And if it is, I hope you don't blame PGL for that. But honestly, I counted 4 tech problems in terms of there was the funny jump scare one where what happened was the sound mixer to my mic crashed, and when it rebooted, it put me up plus 60 decibels, and it just so happened to start at a sentence, so I ended up doing the pimp mic. So Maniac was like, so yeah, it was like this, and I'm like, well, I think you're gonna remember about Jay Doers, and it was just like so fucking funny, and that clip was actually hilarious. Then what else was good about it? Well, so first of all, I thought the games delivered. Somebody was even saying PGL get dug out of the hole all the time because the games are so good but the production sucks. But like I say, I thought production was really good at this event overall. People are so fucking over the top when it comes to live production mistakes. Keep in mind, I was in bed watching fucking Botchamania while I was at this event, and this is the WWE fucking E we're talking about, and there's a clip where they announced who the announcers were going to be or something for an event, and a WWE graphic went out with name here. People don't understand how hard live production is, and to do flawless live production is insane. Honestly, you're always going to have mistakes. The wrong graphics always going to come up. The wrong number's always going to come up. Mics are going to get fucked up. The sound's going to cut out. The cameraman's going to be on the wrong dude at the wrong time or whatever. But at the end of the day, over the course of however many days it was, there were a handful of fuck-ups, a handful of errors. And it's I don't know, you're not going to get perfection. No one else is doing it perfect, by the way, in esports. So I think, listen, as someone who's criticized PGL, I just want to say that, I know Seb. He's the head producer. He's incredibly good at what he does. And he was the guy who produced Stockholm. And one of the reasons that the production at Stockholm had so many problems was because he was essentially doing 3 jobs at once, right? And it's you can't put that on someone. It should never have happened. And by the way, that's not even, contrary to what I said at the time in the green room. He was like a hero, and he did a great job here, and it was great working with him. Perhaps maybe with the exception of Alchemist, he's probably my favorite producer that I've worked with, actually. Talks a lot, pays attention, fucking puts everything up. You don't have to hit talk back and go, I need that graphic. He does it. I don't know. I thought the production was legit here, and I thought the games were legit. I don't know where I would rank it overall in comparison to the CSGO majors. It might be with the games and the production and the crew. It's for me, in terms of working environment, it's number 1. No joke. I've never had an event like this in terms of how much fun it was and how good it felt to be there. And I was never tired, and I didn't get sick. Where it would be in terms of as a viewer, I don't know. That's a tough one. Playoffs were great. I honestly believe, no disrespect to Na'Vi, it might have been a cooler story if Carrigan got that second major. I think it might have been better. Maybe not. Maybe it is better Na'Vi won. I don't know. But I really wanted to say, I wanted to do that line that I repurposed at the end. And King Carrigan coronated in Copenhagen. I wanted to do that. And I didn't get to do that. But Alexi B finally getting his flowers and recognition. Yeah, that's fucking great too. About time, right? I was super psyched about it. So honestly, it could be top 5, Yeah, I think top 5's reasonable, right? No, nothing's going to beat Boston. You know, you got Boston, you got Cologne. I always say Cluj is up there, but no one ever comes along for that ride. But yeah, I think it's a top 5 major, honestly. And just to talk a little bit about, you know, the desk, I'm not like, yeah, Columbus as well. So it's like Columbus, Cluj, Cologne, Boston, and then this, mate. You know what I mean? Like in no particular order, but they're the 5. I don't know. I might put this above Atlanta. I actually think that Atlanta gets carried a lot by the final, but maybe I'm wrong. Obviously, again, mega stressed out, so couldn't even enjoy it. You know, couldn't even watch the games in some cases, you know. But anyway, just about like the desk. Obviously, I talked before I went away about what I wanted to do differently on the desk, and that I feel the one area that's become really stagnant in an esports broadcast is the analysis desks, because it goes, you know, host, analyst 1, analyst 2, host, analyst 1, analyst 2, analyst 2, analyst 1, host, sponsored segment, host, game. And it just kind of, it's just too formulaic for me. And what I wanted to do with the guys, and, you know, I said this to Maniac, I said this to Pimp, I said this to Blair, I said, conversations are organic. And the most compelling conversations, whether it's in real life, whether it's on a podcast, you know, whether it's on a sports talk show, it's when they just go and go and go, and everyone's into it. And there's crosstalk and interruptions and voices being raised and stuff like this. And I just said, like, go for it. Just go for it. I'm going to toss something out into the middle. Listen, I'm going to throw the grenade into the middle of the room. You decide. You can jump on it, you can pick up on it, or you can watch it explode. It's your call. But it's going out there. I'm going to put it out there, and you guys do what the fuck you want with it, but do something interesting with it. Don't ignore it. And that was the rule. That's how I approached desk hosting. And so we threw it out there, and Maniac, what me and him are like kindred spirits. Like every time I put something out, Maniac knew exactly where to go with it and knew exactly how to elevate the material. Blair, totally the same. Blair was like, you know, never shied away from giving an opinion. And keep in mind, it's harder for Blair because Blair wasn't a pro player. Blair never competed at a major, right? He's the guy. Everyone goes, well, what do you know? Right? But Blair was in there too. He got in the mix. He's the one taking the bigger risks. You know, Pimp, when I said it to him, I said, I know it's not within your comfort zone, but please, like, just come along for it. And in they went. And as Harry says in the chat there, yeah, this is Blair's first major final, guys. You know? So when we had that 3-man desk, all of a sudden, it gets even more difficult to manage because we've got 3 voices. And I'm telling everybody, get your elbows in to the conversational ribs and make sure you get yours. And space isn't offered, it's taken. And it's taken by having something to say. And there were so many good little bits. There were so many good one-liners. Pimp had so many jokes, and so did Blair, and there was so much back and forth, and there was bits where, you know, we were so compelled to listen to what Pimp said on the far left of the table. Me and Maniac were literally leaning across the table to make eye contact with him, and that's a desk. That's what they should be. Because if we're having fun and we're interested, it therefore extends that you should be having fun and you should be interested. And a desk segment isn't for everyone. But let's put this to bed once and for all. All the analysts that work this show understand it. You, and not you, but you generally, the fans, you don't want dry statistical analysis. You don't. Sometimes you say you do, and I understand why you say that. Because you want to be seen to know about the game and to be better at the game. And maybe some of you even harbor dreams of being a pro. But that isn't what you want, because that's not what you talk about after you watch a final, when you're in floods of tears because your favorite team won, or your favorite players raising the trophy and doing an emotional post-match interview. You don't talk about how actually he won 5 out of 10 duels. You don't say that. You say, oh my God, Simple got his major. I can't fucking believe it. I'm so happy for him. What's Boomich about to do with the microphone? That's what you talk about, and that's what we should talk about. That's the connectivity. You might never understand the game on a level Maniac does, right, or Pimp does, them having been former pros. or even the current pros when they're guests on the desk. But you know what you do have in common with them? You love the game to the same level. You get excited to the same level. You feel it the same way. You react the same way. The highs hit you the same. The lows hit you the same. That's the bridge. That's the bridge. Not the numbers, not the fucking heat maps, none of that. What the connectivity is in the love of the game. And so I said, like, particularly for the final, let's not get bogged down in the numbers. Let's not get bogged down in the minutia. Let's paint a big, beautiful, glorious picture about what this means for both teams. Let's talk about how Spirit aren't here when they were the hot favourites, and how it hasn't been a good tournament for Phenoms, and how this could be legacy defining for Carrigan. Because if Carrigan wins this second major on home soil, he might conceivably be the GOAT. I bet Glave's watching at home, terrified, mopping his brow. Let's talk about Na'Vi, the international lineup that everybody doubted. Cut Immer, bring back Simple. Simple's in the building, watching, waiting for his opportunity to come in this team. Let's do it. Let's paint these big, beautiful fucking pictures for everyone at home so you understand the stakes. That's way more interesting and compelling than Immer has an 80% headshot ratio. Like, nah. And by the way, think about how that was reciprocated by things that made no sense. Things you could not predict. Alexi B top fragging in a map on Phase's pick, so they win it. JL, the MVP of the major, clutch after clutch after clutch, jumping on top of his desk, swinging his shirt around his fucking head. Like, it's just as well we didn't bother with statistical analysis, because by the end, we would have looked like fucking fools. And so, I contend, for future desks, even, if there's any hosts out there that watched the show and thought, this is kind of good. Don't worry, I've got plans. I've already talked to PGL. We're going to make it better. We're going to refine it. We are going to make these the best desks in esports. I promise you. I won't rest until we get to what I believe a desk can be. But just copy that philosophy. And that is that the human element will always trump the statistical element. There's a million people that can break down a demo online days after the event, and it'll be really interesting and really helpful for the people who want to improve. But what they cannot do is in the moment capture the stakes. Because I tell you, when you look at video footage of Carrigan crying, having lost again in the Royal Arena, there isn't a statistic that captures why that's important or why that happened, why that matters, what that means. So, numbers overrated. The human story is what really matters when we're doing this. So, we're super happy with the way the desks went and really thought people enjoyed them. Looking forward to doing more of them, because as the other thing that happened, and we can talk about it now because it's been announced, when PGL asked me to come and do this one, they said it's with a view of they were going to do 11 events over the next 2 years. And I said, well, let's just start with this one. And they said, we'd like you for all of them. And I said, well. This is before I'd had the spiritual overhauling, before my brain got fixed. I went and I said, let's just start with this one. Yeah. And I think once I'd realized I was the asshole, and then I tried my hardest to fix that. And then I spent time with my friends and got the reboot that I needed. I went to Silviu, who's the CEO and founder of PGL, and I said, I don't know if the offer's still open or not, but I'll do them all. And he went, of course the offer is there. You know we like your work, so all right, cool, I'm in for all of them. And so that's like 11 events over the next 2 years. And I also said, like, listen, this crew we've got right now is so special. Let's not let any wedges come between anything. Let's let's keep this energy. Let's keep this group of people. Like, I want to work with Shocks again. You know, like I say, I think it's like career defining for me. Like, her resume is like fucking insane as a host, and I feel like being around her and watching her work, I think it makes me better at what I do. And you know, getting to work with all these great analysts, I think that makes me better at what I do, and it makes me want to do good work. Getting to hang out with this crop of casters who I'm gonna say it. I think the current crop of commentators we've got, I think they are the equal to, if not better than, but certainly equal to the golden era of Counter-Strike. I really believe that, and I see it every time I watch them work, and I watch them, and I watch their approach, and I will say, while we all miss Sadikist's voice, obviously, you know, I think what we've got right now is, like, in terms of wordplay, in terms of sophistication, in terms of storytelling, and in terms of how hard these guys work and prepare, I've never seen anything like it. And I think we're super blessed. Like, for real, I'm not just saying it because of the spirit. I'm still never going to just lie. But I genuinely believe it. I genuinely believe it. I think about how those games, all those stories were told, you know, and how, like, think about it. We've still got some of the golden age. Anders was there. Henry was there. You know, think about, like, Anders and Henry, you know, I see the hate threads towards them. They went full send in their fucking quarterfinal, and it was fucking mega. It was actually amazing. Like, the fact is, some people do, like, A+ work, but at this event, everyone was S tier. Everyone. Like, seriously. Like, I know, I was there, I saw it. I was blown away every day by the effort. Like, put it this way as well, another thing people might do, because if you don't have a game, like, say you're a caster and you don't have a game until the evening, people won't come into the green room and watch the first game. Pretty much all the time the green room was full of people, regardless of what shift they were on. Just hanging out, watching the games, making notes. It was great. Great to see, like, a genuine group that wanted everybody to succeed, that understood the adage that a rising tide raises all ships. And I'd say, I've been in dozens of green rooms down the years, and this was the best. I was talking to Thorin on the phone before I even came live, just to catch up, because I haven't talked to him in a while. Just said, like, seriously, dude, like, we had some fun and banter, like, in green rooms in the past, but this was the most chill, nice environment. No factions, no grouping off. Everyone talking to each other. Everyone grabbing dinner with each other. Like, it was awesome. Can't express it enough. So I think the broadcast was fucking fantastic, just in terms of what was put out there. I did say, I hope next time we can get some, for the playoffs, we can get some more shoulder content. And I even said I'd be willing to help with that, and maybe bring in some of the No Majors guys to help with that if they needed. That would be my only criticism, I think. But in terms of the show, I can't fault it at all, in terms of what I think we put out there. Oh, the show match sucked. About that. All right, okay. This is where, let's get real Richard in for just not nice new pussy Richard. Yeah, pussy in bio Richard. Let's just get asshole Richard back just for 5 minutes, all right? The show match was shit, and I feel bad about it because it was the Displate show match, and I think the Displate sponsorship was, like, great, and I really enjoyed doing the activations, and I always went above and beyond because I know what sponsors like, and I want sponsors to come back and sponsor our game. And when it's a sponsor like Displate, or not, as we'll get to later in the stream, maybe a skins gambling website or something, I want to go above and beyond to make those guys come back and support our scene. And that's why when we did that Vertigo analysis and we had the Vertigo Displate, I said, listen, they haven't asked for this, but I'm just going to integrate this into the segment. And Maniac and Pimp like, yeah, let's do it. So we were pointing on the Displate and stuff, and I said, the sponsor guy from PGL, clip this bit, the sponsors are going to love it. So anyway, Displate sponsored the show match, so it's, like, kind of sad to criticize it. But I want to say, again, it's no fault of PGL. It's no fault of PGL, and let me explain why. So the original plan, somewhere along there, I think, was to get Astralis to do it. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was, like, they wanted an appearance fee thing, or if it was a scheduling conflict, or I don't know, they wanted creative input, but the word on the street was that they asked Astralis and Astralis turned it down. And by the way, I didn't hear this until after I talked to Nicola Nyholm at the party for the premiere. Otherwise, I would have asked him, like, why aren't you at the fucking show match? Because it's like, if I was them, I would have loved to have played it. Now, the other thing I heard, and so maybe the wires get crossed, and maybe it wasn't current Astralis, but I also heard they were trying to get 2019 Astralis back together. And obviously, you know, bring Dupree along and get Device was there to do HLTV Confirmed and, you know, fucking bring in Glaive. And they were going to play Ecstatic, and it was going to be like old Astralis versus the new school, the new kids on the block. Then one person pulled out, and then apparently they all did. And so, okay, PGL said, right, let's just get a team of Danish pros to play Ecstatic, right? And we'll just get good Danes to come and play. And they asked around, and again, I'm not going to name names in the spirit of healing and not being bitter and creating drama, but if you can name a Danish pro, a tier 1 Danish pro, they were asked. And I don't know why they ended up with the team they ended up with, but, you know, Cadian gets it. Cadian said yes. I thought Cadian was great. And by the way, one of the best nights out I had at the whole event. Me and Cadian were sat talking and having beers for about, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours, like way past my bedtime. I had an early call time because I was doing the morning shows all the time. But I was just like, listen, I haven't seen you in so long, brother. Let's have a beer. And I love Cadian. I genuinely love him. I actually know all the shit that Reddit says about him is just a total fucking lie. I even met his mother while we were at this event for the first time, and she was like, you know, you're a cool guy and stuff. Like, people need to show Cadian love. You're going to miss Cadian if he ever retires, you know? He's, like, really, really special. And, yeah, the national anthem was spontaneous. He just went full send on that. I thought he was singing Oh Canada at first because I don't know the Danish anthem. Yeah, there's a good one. Get Right in the chat said she pointed at Get Right and said, are you Olaf Meister? It's great. But no, she was really into it, man. Like, she was taking photos with everyone and stuff. She was rad. Like, and you know, it was like a really nice bit where, you know, everyone was like saying, well, like, you know, I wish I had a parent like you supported me when I was a player and stuff. And it was really cool. It was really cool. Just like lots of positive interactions, you know. And I was sat in front of her when I was watching, I think it was Spirit Phase. I watched that from the crowd. I went out. I was like, I've got to watch this game. Like I was a fan, you know. Didn't drink beer at the event. I had like a gin and tonic, and I was sat there like, it was me and some of the talent and Cadian's mum, and Cadian was getting mobbed by fans like on the left. It was awesome. So anyway, basically, I don't know why everybody said no to doing the show match, and I wish players would get this. So again, in the spirit of not being bitter, I will try and reverse the energy into something positive, and I would just say this. Dear pro players, I know you have a hard job, and I know you practice incredibly hard, and I know coming to events demands so much of your time, media work, meeting with fans, sign-ups, and I also know you have agents in your ears telling you should get paid for everything that you do, which isn't an unreasonable position to take. You are an elite level athlete, after all. But I would also just say to you that there are some things that come with being a personality that you just have to give yourself over to and do them because they're a decent thing, a good thing, a positive thing to do for the community, your fans, and it can't always be about the bottom line. If I was a Danish pro player and I didn't qualify for the major, or I went out of the major early, and I had the chance to come on finals day and play in front of a capacity crowd and listen to 15,000 people chant my name, even if it was meaningless, I would do it. I would go, and I would go because I think you owe it to the fans, and honestly, you owe it to yourself to feel that. So I hope for future show matches, let's do better. Like, pro players, I urge you, like, do better. Don't let the agent demand an appearance fee. Say you'll do it for free. Your org wants you there. It's good advertising. And honestly, it's good advertising for you. I think about 2021 and I think about Yakinda and how cool he jumped at the chance to be on a show match and doing forward rolls and finger guns and interviews. And it really helped his brand, and it really helped him, get noticed. Also, if you're an older player, if you're a legend and you happen to be thinking about coming to the event, again, I know it can be a pain in the arse. You might be a bit precious about your reputation or ability. Like, Kenny, I love you, man. And everyone in that stadium would have fucking died to see you play one more time on a stage. And I don't know if you were approached, but even if you weren't, you should have been beaten down the doors to come and do it. And you would have got like one of the biggest pops at any major ever. Same with Pasha Biceps and all these guys. Like, listen, I know Kenny's not Danish, but once we've gone down the line of Danes, we get to the legends, if you're in the building. So I'm just saying, a lot of people lashed out at PGL, and PGL said we ended up with what we ended up with because we were meant to be doing old Danes essentially versus new Danes in the form of Ecstatic, and that's fine. But let's make these show matches something to remember for the fans. Let's make our show matches like actual fucking show matches. You want to look at the world of sports. The NBA All-Star Game fucking blows now. People don't even bother watching it. The NFL Pro Bowl has gone to flag football, right? Real sports are letting these moments fall by the wayside, but we don't have to. We don't have to do that. We can be better. And by the way, Henry in the chat, my brother, he said, we're here in what could only be described as a show match. And that's like one of the fucking funniest lines in any fucking cast like ever. And so, listen, let's just make these show matches awesome. Like, let's do it. Let's really do it. If you're traveling, I know it's a pain. Turn up. Like, every time you go to an event as a pro player, just bring or a former pro, keep your mouse, keep your gear, and if you get offered, it's not even 40 minutes of your time these days. We're on MR12. Oh, and the other thing, if you play in a show match, don't treat it like it matters, because unfortunately, if you try hard in a show match, it's really off-putting. Just also want to say that. Now, and this is why, mad respect, though, to Kiebi for doing it. And you did treat it like a tryout, but I got to see Kiebi as well. He's looking great. What a glow-up Kiebi had. He looks fucking super good. Hippie Kiebi. He's fucking drop-dead gorgeous. It's incredible. Anyway, got to see Kiebi. Got to see all the guys. And credit to Cadian and Kiebi doing it. And just, let's make All-Star games good, because they can be. They can be. Blast did a really good job with theirs, with all the fun stuff like what we did with our No Majors Club show match, with the jumping through the air and the random weapons and all that stuff. It can be anything. So let's just do that. Right. And this isn't going to be reviewing the major in terms of the games. That comes later. We'll do that later. We'll talk about the Jame Crash. We'll talk about the results. We'll talk about who did well, who didn't. We'll do all that tomorrow. This is just the incidents. Let's start with the Jame Crash. I think we can do the Astralis fan fight, actually, super quick, because it's just hilarious, and I'm glad you reminded me, Launders. There was actually an incident, and somebody uploaded it on Twitter, and if I'd planned this stream better, I would have the video for it. But there was actually a drunken fight between two fans in the stands, like you get at a football match, right? And somebody who was Danish had got the video, because they recorded it on their phone, and they uploaded it with a translation. And what happened is, a guy who was really drunk was walking past somebody else, and he had an Astralis shirt on. And the guy in the crowd shouted down, "Astralis sucks!" Right? And the guy turned around, and he went, "You're fat!" And the guy went, "Do you want to go then?" And he went, "Yeah." And they came down, and they had like a fat drunk fight, and they were grabbing each other, and not one meaningful punch thrown, and like shirts pulled over your heads like it's the schoolyard, and security broke them up. And I will say this, that Royal Arena crowd, probably one of the drunkest fucking crowds ever. Just one of the drunkest crowds. But I condemn violence, and there shouldn't be violence. at any event. How am I spinning this one into a positive? But you know, they got dealt with. They were drunk and nobody got hurt. And it was a bit of a slap fight. It was a bit silly. Boys will be boys, says Alfredo in chat. Security dealt with them and removed them from the venue really quickly, and I'm sure they woke up feeling very, very silly indeed. But I will say, I've been going to Danish events for a long time, a long, long time. I think my first Danish event must have been in like 2006, thereabouts. I was talking about it because I had a fan interaction which sort of blew me away. We were having a drink, all of the staff, one night in the hotel. You just sat around a table having a few drinks, decompressing like we do, and a drunken Danish fan with a huge red beard came up to me and he went, Lewis. I always know when I'm talking to a real Danish fan. They call me Lewis. They don't call me Richard, they call me Lewis. Hey Lewis, I know you. And I'm thinking, well, yeah. I said, yeah, I'm hosting the major. Yeah. And Lewis, no, I know you from LAN. I know you from, and he said something different, but it was HK LAN. HK LAN is in my hometown, and you went there. And I went, oh shit, okay, this is it. This is the one, right? And he went, and he went, yes, you drink lots with all the players. I see you. Yeah. I used to really like a drink. Yeah, I did. Clean and sober now. I'm hiding the beer. He said, I prove it to you. Now, HK LAN is in a place called Jutland, right? Which is like basically where it's kind of like in Game of Thrones, north of the wall, where the wildlings live. That's Jutland, right? That's the only way I can explain it. if you don't know. And the Danes know. The Danes know exactly what they're talking about, right? Obviously, I've been up to Jutland. I couldn't believe the HK LAN in Jutland. Like, I was like the shortest guy there. I'm 6 foot. And you've seen I'm pretty broad. I was just fucking tiny. I was just absolutely tiny compared to everyone. Like, average height about 6'8". 280 pounds of muscle, all trying to play video games. Oh, I have crushed my mouse again. Like, fuck me. These guys were animals, mate. So, the guy who used to run HK LAN was a guy called Ulla. Now, Ulla was a legend in the scene because his right arm was totally dead. The nerve in his arm, when he was a baby, it died. And so, his arm couldn't move, and it would just flop around like that, right? And he was like the head admin. And so Ulla used to come up to you like, oh, I can't get on the network or whatever. And Ulla would go he would come up to the desk and he would literally flop his arm onto the desk. Like he sort of had to move it manually himself. And he would type with his left hand, And this fan just said to me, I prove it to you. And he just went, Ulla! And he just screamed Ulla in my face like that. And I was like, oh shit. You actually did go to HK LAN in like 2007 or whatever it was. He wasn't bullshitting. Now, he did outstay his welcome. I won't lie. He was very drunk. And one thing you don't do is you don't ask people from Jutland to ever leave or stop talking because they don't like that. So he took what could have been a really nice 5 to 10 minute interaction and turned it into a 45-minute nightmare for everyone around me. And people were just coming up to me going, Richard, you're like a fucking chaos magnet. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. We're talking about Ulla repeatedly. But, I mean, the long and the short of it is this crowd was so insanely drunk. Everyone there was fucking wasted. They were so wasted. It was unbelievable how wasted everyone was. I don't know. Listen, here's the thing. If crowds are drunk, but they're not causing trouble, I gotta be honest, don't really mind. Denmark is a very chill place. And Copenhagen is a very chill city. And I've been going there for a long, long time. And I have been in some unbelievable states. And I've never seen a fight, never felt in danger. Generally, the worst experience I've ever had in Copenhagen is just people being really overbearing because they're drunk. That's it. You know, they are just a big drinking culture, but not violent or aggressive with it. The Brits could learn a thing or two from the Danes, honestly. And to be fair as well, by the way, if you're drunk in Denmark, you might be a fucking millionaire. Because, as Harry says, when it's 25 euros for a gin and tonic, like, you know, you've earned the right to be drunk, I would say. Like, this is one of the reasons why I think I might have spent all of the money I earned at this event because one of the things that I like to do is I don't like people. So there's this weird socially awkward thing that can happen sometimes, which is like when you come to an event, like people are all at different levels of work experience, success. Some people have made money in other areas, you know, like they might be a crypto millionaire, or they might have an even bigger YouTube channel than anyone there, or, you know, so whatever it might be, they have money, you know. And so one of the things I always do is, like, I don't like to assume that, you know, oh, I'll buy you a drink and then obviously you get me a drink later or whatever. It's a weird position to put people in. So one of the rules I always have is, like, if I'm getting a drink for myself, I just buy a round. I just get a round for everybody, and then it's not awkward, it's not weird. You just do it. I had a couple of big bar tabs. Like I had an 850 euro bar tab, and I had a 550 euro bar tab. So that was like, this was like one night. So I was like, I think I might have spent a lot of what I earned in Denmark, but worth it because it was good. Yeah, and that was just 2 rounds of drinks. No, to be fair, 1 round was like 20 shots of tequila, and I got everyone like a shot of tequila. I got like 20 shots, and I had one with Taz. After G2 went out as well, we were like, you know, Nostrovia and fucking what have you. So yeah, it's expensive in Denmark, is the long and the short of it. Which is another reason, by the way, super cool. Free drinks at the very last after party, provided by PGL, and also at the Red Bull premiere. But here was the problem: the only 2 mixes at the Red Bull premiere was Red Bull or orange juice, and I was like, ugh, I'll tank the orange juice. So I was like, oh, I had so much reflux the next day. I was like, oh God, I can't even fucking stand up straight. It was really bad. I was like begging them, like, please, can I just have some Prosecco or something, please? Yeah, with orange juice, all right. I was like, you're killing me. So I had to get like some fucking dodgy, like, Danish, I had to get some dodgy Danish, like, stomach medicine, which was like, fucking, oh, and I broke a bone in my foot. That's also, how can I forget that? That's also something that happened. I fucking broke a bone in my foot. There's a ramp outside the hotel, and in Denmark they do this thing where they have like stone, like it's like stone steps, but then they have like ramps next to it for like the bikes, and it was dark, and I stood right on the part where the fucking step met the ramp, and I rolled my ankle, and at first I thought, oh, fuck. I knew immediately. It was like, you bastard. And I thought, oh, I'd sprained my ankle. But no, I've broken a metatarsal in the top of my foot. And it's black at the moment. But I'm not stupid enough to put my feet on camera or take a picture of them and upload it, because I know what you sickos are like. So, yeah, it's like got this horrible purple bruise up there. And all the boys were laughing at me because I was walking like this the entire time. Yeah, exactly. I'm making you. Not this time, guys. Not this time. Nearly got me. Oh yeah, I'll just show you now. Just lift my leg up. Like, no. Fool me once. So anyway, let's talk about the Jane PC crash. That was an incident. It upset me, actually. So I want to make it clear. It appears that I saw a lot of people, this is why PGL can never have a major ever again, they're bad, and then, why are you blaming PGL? It's actually Valve. CS2 is just such a broken game. It's really bad, blah, 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 blah. Then Harry, who had used the call, divine intervention strike, by the way, literal textbook definition of divine intervention, an incident that cannot be explained, that benefits somebody else. Divine intervention, totally perfect. Harry was getting hatred from various people, obviously upset fans. Right? I get it, you were upset. You know, how dare you say it's divine intervention? That means it's a good thing. It's like, no, I mean, you know, listen, God does all sorts of crazy stuff, doesn't he? That's the whole point. It's all part of God's plan. Who are we? Is mere mortals to question himself. Divine intervention. So it's hands down one of the worst crashes I have seen in any esport in the history of the game. And I've seen a few, and I've seen a few in other games. I think about the Warcraft 3 Reloaded incident, if people remember that, and that was really bad. And there's been some others. There's been a notable StarCraft crash as well, StarCraft 2 crash. So I've seen them happen in other games, and there you go. Wow, venomous stare. Fuck me. In with the receipts. You get it. You remember. Holy shit. Good man. 2010 esports fans rise up. So I've seen it. It happens. This probably isn't the worst one in esports. It's probably the worst one in CS. And when it right, okay, I'm going to be honest. Honesty, I had accepted G2 were going to win the major, okay? I felt that because I'd had all these experiences where it was like, oh shit, I've been an asshole to my friends. I deserve what's coming next, actually. I made up with everybody, and then I realized, your punishment must be more severe. I realized I was in the Bane Cave, right? I knew that the only appropriate punishment was going to be Hooksy winning the major, holding up the trophy. Banks puts the mic under his mouth, and he just screams, "What about my major today, dickhead?" And all the crowd look up at me and start pelting me with rotten fruit, chanting, "Giga Chad, Giga Chad, Giga Chad." And I was like, okay, that's happening. I deserve that. And I just told everyone, this is, by the way, just so you know, because I can say this now. Do you want to know how I became so convinced? It wasn't just the divine intervention that we'll talk about now. But do you know what part of the stadium we were in for our green room? G2. Oh, yes. We were in part G2. I had to open that metal door every day with G2 written on it. Oh, yeah. And I was telling people, I was going like, don't you believe in portents and signs? Don't you believe? I mean, listen, Turbo Unicorn. I know this sounds schizophrenic now. Made sense at the time. But anyway, I was like, yeah, it's happening. It's 100% happening. And I was telling everyone it was happening. And then, keep in mind, I'd said all this, and I was in the green room. One of the best green rooms I've ever been in, not just for vibes, actually. They had something that's like atrium, and it was like you had natural sunlight coming through and plants all around and super high coffee machines and comfy sofas and big TVs. It was sick. It was actually better than the E-League green room. Anyway, I was watching the game up there, right? And it got to that round, and I was like, oh, wow, VP are going to knock G2 out. It's all going to be okay. The nightmare isn't coming true. And then it happened. And I watched Hooksy like whiff 10 shots into the back of Jame and him not react to it and then die and then them win the round. And everyone in the room turned to me and just started laughing. All the other commentators, all the other analysts, shocks, they're all laughing at me. And I'm going, do you see? Do you fucking see? And then we had to go down and do that segment. Obviously, they won. And then Hooksy, like, obviously, imagine the relief. This is the thing. I wasn't being very kind or gracious on the broadcast. Imagine the relief for him. Like, his job was on the line, I think. 100%. And so he got up and he screamed. He went, woo, when they won. And people were going, oh, G2 didn't know about it. G2 100% knew that there had been a crash because there was a tech pause afterwards. And then by the end, you definitely know. And then obviously we had that weird Anubis map where VP were just clearly shook and didn't get into the game until it was too late. And yeah. They said it in the comms as well. And then Hooksy like screamed again. He was popping off all the time at the end of the games. And I don't know, it sort of rubbed me the wrong way. Like, if I beat an opponent in that way, I would still scream like Ric Flair. I just do it in the mirror alone in my room, I think. But I also understand why Hooksy didn't. I can't even imagine the stress he was under. And it was probably unprofessional of me to come into the broadcast and, on day one of the playoffs and say, I think GT were coming in as villains because of the reaction there. I know the community I know the community agreed. Like when I turned to the crowd, and by the way, this was just to test if the crowd were even listening. And I said, "Who wants G2 to win?" And they went, "Boo." "Who wants them to go home?" "Yes." I was like, okay, right, cool. I'm going to go with this narrative. I don't know if it was fair or not. I don't know if it was kind or not. I don't know if it was decent or not. I'm just trying to entertain people. And I hope Hooksy doesn't watch that back and think I'm like a fake or, you know. But I know. It still rubbed me the wrong way. Now, I can tell you from behind the scenes, everybody was really bummed out after that happened. And it got worse because, like, Jame, I don't think I'm ever going to say a bad word about Jame again. Handled that like a fucking pro. Like, Jame literally, like, did an interview where he said, I am not calm in my heart. It's, like, the worst thing that has, like, happened to me. I'm like, oh, God. This is killing me. It just gave me so much respect for him in that moment. And all of those guys, they unquestioningly shook hands with their opponents, even after the, pop-offs. And they went home. And I know, it was, for things I'll talk about next, it was a really rough event if you were Russian. It was just a weird event to be at in general. And I just thought they handled it with so much dignity and so much calmness, and I don't know if I could have done that. So that everybody was really bummed out. Like, one of the things I always try and do whenever I'm at a show, I always try and make sure everyone's like feeling good. And like, if there's anything you need, you need a coffee, I'll give you a coffee. I'll bring you a coffee. Do you need a coffee? How are you feeling today? Did you get a good night's sleep? Okay, no problem. Oh, you need some space? My bad. Sorry. I bring in like stupid toys. Like, I brought in a fucking Nerf gun that I gave to like Anders' kid at the end of the day, so you could just pop in and just like get a bit of energy going. I had a remote controlled poo. I found this in a toy shop. It was a poo called the Speed Poo, and it was a remote controlled poo that you could like move around, and you press a button on the remote and it would fart. And after Henry had like fucking he'd had food poisoning, I got the Speed Poo in, and then was just doing like silly things like that, to try and like just keep everybody up, but not at anyone's expense, just a bit of fun for the room. I brought in like this wasn't as good and didn't really get used, but I brought in like a karaoke microphone that you could sync up to Spotify in case anybody wanted to sing like Yakuza themes, So got all of that stuff and just trying to like give everybody a lift. And let me tell you, with the exception of the stage invasion day, everyone was really bummed out after the Jane PC crash thing. Like, it just bummed people out, man. Because, again, I underestimate how much these people love CS. These guys fucking live and breathe CS. They travel with these players. They travel to their events. They tell their stories. And we just saw something really unfortunate and shit happen to someone. And the guys were kind of like, the guys were down about it. They were bummed out. So I was like, yo, don't worry, we can do this. It's like, it's all going to be worth it when G2 win. Like, Harry felt terrible because obviously he'd done the divine intervention call. I thought that was great. I picked up on that and I went with that on the desk. And I just kept saying to everybody, you don't know it now, but we're living through like an epic major. We're going to like talk about this. We're going to talk about this major and all of the things that happened. And this major alone would make like an amazing documentary. And yeah, it was like Harry's birthday and he was like bummed out because of the fucking Jane crash and the hate he was getting. And I was like, guys, people are just angry in the moment. It's going to go. People are just going to remember the fucking wicked CS by the time we get to the end. Let's do it. Let's fucking do this, But it really bummed everyone out, man. It really did. It bummed out. It was like, it was a strange mood. Not just around the crew and the talent, but like just in the bar. You could just feel it. People were drinking. It was just a weird one. So, the incident, as far as I'm aware, it was an NVIDIA problem. I don't know. Apparently, like, players keep fucking around with NVIDIA settings. I don't know if Jame had done that or whatever, or if it was just a general thing. But what happened after the crash, I think we rolled back all the PCs to the previous version of NVIDIA. I think PGL contacted NVIDIA and found out, kind of notified them about the issue. And we had to roll NVIDIA, and they tweeted publicly it was an NVIDIA crash. It was sad to see Valve catch a lot of heat when they didn't deserve it. And this wasn't a PGL issue. It's happening all the time on CS2. And we had multiple crashes. By the way, if you want to keep sending me stuff, if you're listening, please, that would be super helpful. I don't have a producer anymore, so not at the moment, not for these streams. Oh, Griff, I left Griff out of all the positive stuff. I guess I'm going to end with Griff. We got Griff to an event, his first ever big esports event. I took his hotel out of my fee so Griff could come, and Griff came, and it was his first esports event. He was going around, and we had plans to do content, and then we didn't get to do the content. And I just told him, just treat it like a holiday then. I don't give a fuck. Just have drinks, meet people, and he got to meet everybody. Like, everybody got to meet Griff and hang out with Griff, and everybody loves Griff now. And what's going to happen is Griff's going to get hired, and he's going to leave me behind. And what about my apprenticeship today, dickhead, and go on to brilliant things. But yeah, Griff did great work. And one of the things we were able to do, he went around and he took a bunch of photographs and he got some bangers. And what I'm probably going to do, once I've finished creating all my content and got back from America, I'm probably going to make them available for other people to use. Because he's an aspiring photographer as well. He's like super talented. What we might do is, because obviously if you use HLTV pictures, it's their business model. I get it. They're very aggressive in stopping people using their pictures. That's fine. It's their copyright, and they're even selling them in books and everything now. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably like make these available for people to use in the general community, and we'll put a very subtle like watermark on or something like that. But Griff got like hundreds, and he got let me see if I can bring this up. Yeah, there it is. He got like some really cool shots like this, and he got like hundreds of them. So, I mean, they're like, there's actually there might even be a better one than that. I think he had one of like Hooksy looking at the trophy. Oh yeah, here it is. This is so fucking perfect. I mean, these are all coming to thumbnails soon, but it's just an example. Like, I actually said to Griff, like, you should probably consider entering this into some sort of esports competition, actually. Like, Hooksy looking sad and looking at the trophy like that, I think is that's like just an amazing picture. Like, that actually fucking bangs, right? So, what we'll do is, we're obviously going to put these in thumbnails and whatever, but assuming Griff agrees, we'll share our pictures with people, create a little database for people to go and like use. Even though we didn't get to do the content we wanted to do, we got to do some amazing stuff that's going to obviously, elevate our content. Even just having pictures like that as thumbnails, I think that's fantastic. I think being able to use pictures like that for the Substack, it's fantastic. So, really good stuff. And listen, I think, yeah, we'll probably share some of our photos with Liquipedia, because I think Liquipedia do good work and whatnot. So anyway, super productive event. By the way, Griff is just a lovely human being, but I knew that anyway, because I get the joy of working with him every day. He makes amazing content, and it was really good to hang out with him. It was our first time hanging out in person, and I hope he enjoyed the event and feels like he got something out of esports and the association with our community. So anyway, this is the crash, and here you go. This is the error that was linked to the Jame experience. The 5 or 6 crashes occurred, had the same event log with the NVID MKM GPUID 100 error. This caused an alt-tab bug where you find yourself unable to rejoin the game, which is exactly what happened to Jame. If you look, it looks like he's alt-tabbed and just stuck. He's not like in that unnatural pose or anything you get when you're kind of like disconnected. But anyway, you can see that the NVID MKM error is related to the NVIDIA driver used, which was the 551.76 version. When I optimized the PCs, I chose to install another version, but it eventually got updated to a newer one. PGL esports will run tests on the GPU and troubleshoot the issue by reinstalling another driver and stress test the GPUs in every computer. Katowice 2 months ago had a similar issue. Counterstrike had a lot of memory leak problems, and a lot of people experienced with crashes with different scenarios, and PGL esports or other TOs shouldn't be pointed out for those games crashes. Hearts out to Virtus Pro for this loss and the unfortunate scenario. So I do want to make it clear that it wasn't a PGL thing and it wasn't a Valve thing. The community raised up very quickly with pitchforks and essentially went at the wrong people. And that kind of sucks because I don't think Valve deserve the criticism they get just by and large, and particularly with how they've approached CS2. And I also don't think PGL were to blame in this particular instance. And look, you can't really blame NVIDIA either. Like, when you're making graphics drivers and you have to account for millions of games and everything else, certain things are going to have issues. And, you know, obviously CS2 is a brand new game. It's going to have crashes. This was like the super unfortunate nightmare scenario that nobody wanted to have happen. So just to make it clear, that was the incident. Now, obviously, as I said, a lot of people were super bummed out with that. And I get it. But we were able to reconnect to the competition, focus on the positives, and we got into it. And we had an amazing day of quarterfinals, and we were like, you know, this is it. Now, the other thing I got to mention is that it was just a weird fucking event in general, because PGL were being attacked by Danish journalists and the Danish government. So why was that happening? Well, two reasons. The first was 1xBet as a sponsor isn't licensed in Denmark, and as you know, I've talked about it before, they are considered to be one of the less scrupulous gambling companies out there. But honestly, on the list, as I've said many times, I don't think people realize, like, that they're still probably middle of the pack. Like, these skin sites are fucking insane. The unregulated crypto sites are fucking insane. There's just literally private illegal sites you can go on. And all of these people are trying to gain exposure. And it's like 1xBet, people were attacking PGL for being sponsored by 1xBet. They sponsor HLTV. HLTV's owned by Better Collective. That's a Danish company, guys. Weird how you didn't go after them. 1xBet sponsor ESL. Weird how you didn't go after them. So there were two things happening simultaneously. And there were members of the Danish government, I think, even came to the venue. And I'm going to get into the politics of why that's, like, crazy. But I'm just going to show you the write-up of it over on, like, dust2.us. And, credit to Ryan, not someone I always credit, but, he wrote this up. And obviously M&M's and Note, all the guys, they've been on this stuff. But this was the other thing we were dealing with at this major. So the Danish culture minister wanted PGL to ban all Russian players from the major. Now, I'm just going to say this. I've never been on board with this. Never. Not since day one. And by the way, I wasn't on board with this when it was actually unpopular to hold this opinion. Respect to the community for coming round. Because I'm just going to say it. This is how I always frame this. Citizens are not responsible for the actions of their government, because the system labeled democracy TM only enables us to vote them out at very limited opportunities every 4 years, 5 years, 3 years. And even then, we generally are presented with a choice of a lesser evil, not a revolutionary, game-changing candidacy. It is a farce. It is a farce that we are either forced to participate in and feel foolish, or ignore, and then democracy is something that is done unto us. So I have never... People know where I stand on this politically, and I won't soapbox on this stream because it's been a mostly positive stream. But I will just say that at the end of the day, if you genuinely believe that citizens should be held accountable for every action their government takes, then I would propose we should go back in time and we should look at things that Britain has done. We should look at things that France has done. And we should look at things that the United States has done. Because we have imperialist genocides, atrocities, attacks, unlawful invasions, human rights violations, all in our history. And yet, me, even after Brexit, with a British passport, I can go anywhere I want. The US, welcome with open arms. The French, we ignore the things they have done in places like Algeria, right? Why do we draw the line here and now? And I would just put it to you, it's not fair. I understand every nation has got its skeletons. So we need to either decide that we as free people, free citizens, aren't responsible and in fact are sometimes embarrassed and disgusted by the actions of our government. Like the many Russians I have met at esports events and just talking to them privately who feel not only ashamed of their actions of their government, but too afraid to say anything about the actions of their government because they live under a tyranny. You can't have it both ways. You can't say Putin is a despot and then say, why don't you overthrow the despot? This is Russia. Gulags are real. Russian people who don't support Putin actually need our support too. And I am sorry if that's an unpopular opinion, but it is one I have always held and will continue to hold because I think governments are actually the enemy of the people that unfortunately elect them. So, and I also want to add, the Russian players that came to this event under this storm, they were under a disproportionate amount of pressure. Things that couldn't happen at this event. The word Russia couldn't be used. The Russian flag couldn't be shown. We made the decision to not show any flags or mention any nations. They were booed by the crowd for actions of their government. I'm sure you picked up on Hobbit wearing national Kazakhstani dress on the stage doing the interviews. I think that fucking sucks. I think that's sad. I know people like Boomich very well, and they are kind, gentle people that do not support atrocities anywhere. So those players were under so much scrutiny and pressure. I think they all acquitted themselves with incredible dignity. And for the Danish culture minister to come out and do this, I think it's a fucking disgrace. And I'll tell you why it's a fucking disgrace, and I'm going to expose this little bald rat in a minute. I'll tell you why it's a disgrace. If you feel that strongly about Russians, why does Denmark not have a travel ban? It's a very good question, right? If you believe that Russians shouldn't be allowed to benefit from participation in competitions in your country, where is your travel ban? And do you know why governments and politicians are reluctant to enact travel bans? Because one, very often they have ties to Russian oligarchs. Two, in the future, this isn't going to last forever. There'll eventually be a time when the West craves Russian oil, Russian resources, Russian money again. So you won't have your travel ban. But you will morally grandstand like a bald asshole, like this bald asshole likes to morally grandstand, but you won't put your money where your mouth is. And so this is what was happening. Basically, there could be nothing at the event that could be construed as a political statement by Russians. And this extended to the flag, to the mention of the country. This is why they weren't doing interviews or content. I also want to add another thing before we continue on the Danish Minister of Culture, because there's a funny punchline to this story. During the event, there was a terrorist attack by ISIS in Moscow, and shocking scenes of radical terrorists walking through a mall populated by civilians, pumping AK rounds into people who were just there to shop. And I want to tell you something. Team Spirit were playing while that was happening with no access to the internet, no access to phones, and they came off after their game to find out there'd been a terrorist attack in their capital city. And if they had been part of any other nation, there would have been a sympathy there, and there wasn't. And they couldn't talk about it because it would have been a political statement. And I just thought about what it must have been like to be a Russian competitor, to be despised because of the actions of the government. And yes, some of probably some boomer Putin supporters as well. I get it. I'm not saying Putin doesn't have supporters in his country. I'm just saying, let's not tar everyone with the same brush. And to have to sort of sit there and deal with it and know that if you even said on a video interview, my heart goes out to the 150 people killed by ISIS, for fuck's sake. We have to ignore an ISIS atrocity because of where we are at geopolitically. Well, no, not me. I can't. I think that's inhumane. I've said it all the time. Terrorism, wanton murder, whether it's done by states or radical fringe groups, I will never, ever support it or stand with it. I will not. I don't care if it's the good guys did it this time. No, the good guys never do that. So I felt super sorry for Russians at this event. I want to make that clear. And again, if you disagree with that, it's fine. And if you throw abuse at me or you want to post a differing opinion in the comments, I pledge not to delete it. So this is what the Danish Minister of Culture, Jakob Engel-Schmidt, said. He said, as long as Russia continues its illegal war on Ukraine, I don't think Russian athletes should be allowed to compete in international sports, the minister said. And that, of course, includes esports. Even though it is a Romanian tournament organizer, I want to encourage them to ban Russian participation. I also want to heavily encourage the Royal Arena to be more critical when deciding what they want to host. So that was where we were at. I also want to say I think the crew did very well, the production crew, because on day one in the stadium, someone ran down to the front and unfurled a very large Israel flag, which, just taking a temperature check, not a good idea. So that didn't get shown on stream, and we dodged another metaphorical bullet. And this is why PGL deserve all this credit. Because imagine you're running an event and in real time, the host nation's government are attacking you and pressuring you. Now, why are they doing that? That's a good question. I'm going to write an article about it. I've started an article, and it's going to be called Denmark, Russia, and the Esports Political Football. That's going to be the title. It'll be on Substack soon. I think I'll finish it once I've touched down in the US. And here's what a lot of people don't know. Blast is seen as like this little Danish upstart company, but not true. They kept scaling up and they kept needing to make money because we all know Blast was hemorrhaging cash. They took money from the government. They took loans from the Danish government. Essentially now, as it stands, I've looked at the numbers, it's all public information, the Danish government owns Blast, in essence. I'll do a full breakdown in the article. So we've now got a Danish government official mysteriously attacking a rival esports tournament operator for hosting Russians when Blast, let me check, oh yeah, they hosted Russians. Do you remember they did that announcement? And they said, we're banning all Russians from the tournament. And then Virtus.pro won the major. And then they turned around. And then they said, oh, actually, we'll allow Virtus.pro to attend because they're major winners. But they must be called outsiders or something. So this isn't even, by the way, about Russia and what's evil and what's good and what's right. It's actually about the classic esports territorial pissings. And what I love about it is he got fucking mugged. He got mugged right off, this guy. And I am so fucking happy about it. Because somebody pointed out to him, whoa, the government essentially owns Blast. And they have Russians compete. And so the humiliating climb down that he had to engage in publicly, this was a masterclass. Denmark's culture minister claims he was unaware of Russians playing at Blast. Here it is. The comment sparked outrage, his initial comments that I just read you, sparked outrage in the counterstrike community, with some pointing out the minister's hypocrisy. In November, Mr. Engel-Schmidt addressed the Blast Premier Fall Finals crowd in the Royal Arena ahead of the FaZe Cloud9 match. Cloud9 is a team comprised of 4 Russian-born players. Look at the fucking photo of him doing it. The same bald mug. The same bald mug. Literally saying to people, hey, everybody, vote for us, yeah? Like, fucking, oh, you Russians were fine then, mate, when you were fucking politically grandstanding, trying to harvest votes out of that young fucking crowd. So credit to Dust2.dk again. They said Dust2.dk asked Jakob Engelschmidt a number of questions relating to his comments, seeking clarification. The minister responded with a brief statement writing, "It is new to me that Russians were present at Blast last year, but of course I am not part of the planning." Didn't want to check before you got up there. Have a look. Look into what you were doing. And I'll also just add this. Let me take you back into ancient history, right? This guy thinks he gets to be a moral arbiter about whether citizens should be held accountable for the actions of their government. Interesting. It would sure suck if this guy had done something he was directly responsible for that many people in many cultures might find reprehensible themselves. What's this? What's that headline? Danish politician drove car after taking cocaine, loses jobs, plural. Now, as I said, he looks like, I don't know, one of the failed Fade-Routher experiments. Jakob Engelschmidt, an MP with Denmark's governing Venstre Liberal Party, has lost 2 jobs and the representation of his constituency. By the way, this is an ancient history, guys. This is 2018. After being caught driving while under the influence of cocaine, Engelschmidt has been given a 3-year driving ban and a fine for being stopped by police while driving under the influence of narcotics in July last year. The offence was reported by Ekstrabladet on Tuesday after the tabloid newspaper was able to confirm details of the incident involving Engelschmidt via public documents. In a statement subsequently posted on his Facebook page, the MP confirmed he had driven with cocaine in his blood. "In July last year, I made the worst mistake of my life. I was stopped by police because of a faulty light on my car and took a blood test which showed I shouldn't have been driving because I had illegal drugs in my blood. It was cocaine. That is completely unacceptable in every way," he wrote. According to a police report of the incident seen by Ekstrabladet, Engelschmidt initially refused to take a police breathalyzer and drugs test after being stopped and was therefore arrested, with a blood test later taken instead. So, he's now the Danish culture minister. Isn't that interesting? That he had this big scandal that cost him jobs in 2018 and he's back in 2024. It will be very difficult for him to return, they said, before him going away for a few years and then returning. Now listen, here's the thing. I've done cocaine. It's pretty good. Don't advocate for it. Not for everybody. Kids don't use drugs. Just say no. I've done it. I liked it. Right? I know that's bothering you. Right? I've never driven under the influence. I don't have a driving license. So I would never put anyone else at risk for things I do. I'll tell you this. I've got people who've lost relatives because drunk drivers fucking plowed them down and killed them. Or they crashed into their car, killed a kid. I know those people. So let me tell you that when you put others at risk for your bullshit, nah, actually, you don't just get to walk that off, big homie. Bald homie. You don't just get to walk that off, by the way, guys. So if you want to be the moral arbiter of whether Russians, who might not even have voted for Putin, are allowed to ply their trade, nah, I want somebody better than that. I want someone better than this fucking worm, frankly. You know? I made the worst mistake of my life, by the way. So understand the way he's couched it. It was a one-time deal. So he wants you to believe the one and only time he ever did cocaine, he got into a car. No, he's obviously done a lot of cocaine. Right? That's how that works. You never get caught the first time. You get real comfortable with it. You start thinking to yourself, yeah, no, I'm a politician. No one's ever going to fuck with me. He even tried to wreck the police officer, didn't he? He even said, no, I'm not taking a breathalyzer. By the way, coke ain't going to trigger the breathalyzer. You probably should have took it. Oh, no, you've been drinking as well. My bad, obviously. So, I mean, fuck this guy. This guy's a clown. This guy's a clown. Like, you're a clown. You're putting yourself on a pedestal when this is who you are. And it's like you say, you know, like fucking bit of humility, right? Like, yeah, he made no attempt to engage with what's going on with Russia, made no attempt to explain why his government stance is different to the one he's requesting of private businesses. He made the event have this weird shadow over it. And I would even go so far as to say, unironically, I think he might have subverted the outcome of some of the results, because I saw how stressed and flustered a lot of the Russian players were. So, no. Fuck you. And by the way, keep that energy I want to see your little bald ass. I want to see it at the next Blast event that's got Russian players there. And if you're not there, I know the game. And everyone else will. And I'll make sure they do. So that was going on as well. That was another incident that was overshadowing the major. And it sucked. So next up, here's the other one. You forgot. There was a Gowles incident. I did tell you. There was a Gowles incident. I want to make it clear that I thought it was a really good thing. And I've said this multiple times. And again, credit to the community for coming on board with this. I'll just give you a brief summary. I think Gowles is incredibly selfish and self-centered. And I think he is using Counter-Strike for his own goals, his own ends. And I don't think he really cares about the game. I think he cares about Brazil. And that's fine. There's a lot of nationalists out there, right? Launders, for example. Although he doesn't like the term nationalist. He prefers racist. But when I checked out of Gowles, when I checked out on him 100%, it wasn't the chaos thing he did. And for those that don't know, you can go look it up. I wrote about it. But he essentially accused young players of cheating because they beat some washed-up Brazilians online. And he brought on those washed-up Brazilians and interviewed them on his stream. And they said, these people who cheated against us are stealing food from our children's mouths. And everybody cried. And those kids got harassed. And they were one of them was 16 at the time. And now has a very successful career in Valorant. But might feel like they can't go to Brazil. And there's going to be lots of Valorant events in Brazil. It really sucks what he did to those people, and he abused his platform to do it. And yet, because he's so big and so popular, everybody turned a blind eye to it. And they said, yo, you can still be the official partner. Just say you won't do that again. Then, having done that, went to the major in Rio. IEM Rio. Should have been amazing. Major in Brazil. They told us, come to Brazil. So we did. And what did we get? Great atmosphere when Brazilians were playing. No atmosphere when the Brazilians weren't there. That's fine. Okay, cool. You're a home crowd. You're not even going to turn up. Simple. Given Player of the Decade by ESL. They spelt his name wrong, but given Player of the Decade by Simple in an empty stadium after just a couple of days prior you spat on Navi. It's tough to really advocate for that, guys. And I'm not saying it's all Brazilian fans. Met some lovely Brazilian fans at this event. I wish you would do more to drive these people out of the community, guys, by being vocal. Because I want the 80-90% of Brazilians, the incredibly passionate, lovely, warm, giving fans, I want them to be the poster boys for fandoms. I don't want the lunatic fringe that make you look so bad to be the poster boys. And what you do is you say the same thing all the time. You go, oh, but like, what can we do? The loudest voice drones out, you know, the extremists. Be louder. Show more love. Next time you see someone getting wrecked by Brazilians for doing nothing, get in there. Drown them out. Report them. Block them. I know you guys can do this. So, Gowles, though, has no such sensibility. He fucking turned that major into a campaign rally for how everyone hates Brazil. And that's not true. And how everyone will never understand their culture. And that's not true. And how the major in Brazil isn't even for every other nation that attends. It's only for Brazil. And the minute Brazilian teams leave, it's not worth watching anymore. And he said this on a stage at a major. And I think about all the other people who've said and done controversial things, myself included. I would never pervert such a special occasion to be about my bullshit like that. And he did that. And that was the end for me. Because, look, on your stream, you want to do bad things? All right, I can't stop you. Right? But to do that at a major on stage with a microphone, to say those things to those fans, to cheer for a team that wasn't playing while Mouse Sports were, nah. Guys, like, that's not tolerable. And so when PGL said, we're not going to, BTS Brazil are going to get the official Portuguese language streaming rights for this major, and not Gowles, and Gowles will have to be a community streamer, I went, yes! Finally, someone is willing to take the viewership hit to do what's best, not just for the major, but I'm telling you also for the Brazilian scene. Because And I know people, last time I said this, people posted in the comments saying you don't understand the history of the Brazilian scene. More than you would realize. I talked to all the ex-Brazilian streamers that no longer have a place. I talked to the aspiring talent that never got a chance. And you shouldn't have to be in the Tribo to have a career. You shouldn't have to play second fiddle to Gaules to get opportunities. So it was really big of PGL to do this. And what do we get? Every day a Reddit post like, oh, Gaules has 10 times the official Portuguese language stream this major. And sometimes he's not even streaming the action. Sometimes it's just a scoreboard. Yeah, because those people are Gaules fans. They're fans of Gaules. They'll watch him sit there and sweat and say nothing. They're fans of him. They're not fans of Counterstrike. They're not fans of global Counterstrike. They're fans of him. And that's also fine. But let's not start muddying the waters and pretending they're CS fans like what you and I are. They're not. Because if I spoke Portuguese and Gaules wasn't getting the official stream and someone else was, I'd still go watch the official stream. No matter how much I love Gaules. Because CS comes first. So I want to say that PGL did brilliantly this event, handling that. And Gaules went out of his way to be petty and spiteful and small. And he did all this stuff where it was like, you know, he was constantly tweeting about PGL won't give us the rights. I guess they'll never understand. This is an attack on Brazilians. This is this is that, this is that. And then we had this. I won't be able to translate this, I don't think. But basically, this is Gaules. What he did was, after he asked for two of his Tribo staff members, Laminia and BT, to be allowed access with cameras to the Royal Arena, he went on stream and he showed private business emails on his stream, right? And basically was like saying, they're trying to ruin us. They're trying to ruin the broadcast. That's what he did.
PGL Copenhagen Press Accreditation. Aí, ó, nós estamos aqui.
And he also framed it, and I'll get to this in a second. He also framed it. They were having their press accreditations removed. More on that in a moment.
Estamos felizes de, né, o Major inaugural de CS2. Você, né, para garantir o acesso na arena, acesso V2. Aí tem o guia. Por favor, leve uma identificação válida. É importante, tal, não sei o quê, blá, 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 blá. Depois, acesso suspended, rapaziada. Por favor, esqueça o e-mail passado. O seu acesso foi suspenso. Nossa senhora. Acesso suspended, velho. Começamos assim, né, velho? Começamos assim, velho. Começamos assim e vambora, velho, né? Estamos aí.
So, do you want to know what those guys wanted to do? They wanted complete 100% access to the venue with cameras that were live and could be going anywhere. They wanted the right to wander around the venue with cameras that were being fed live to Gaules' studio. And when they said, well, no, you can't have that. You're not the official language partner. You could be pointing those streams at anything. There's integrity concerns. So, no, you can't do that, and we're not going to let you in if that's what you want to do. They had a fucking tantrum about it. And by the way, I only found out that there was an issue because on one of my breaks, even though I wasn't checking Twitter religiously, I went on to Twitter, and somebody had said this is happening because Richard Lewis has been hired and he hates Gaules, as if I had any influence over the show whatsoever. And so I went and I asked. They thought they could just walk around the venue with live cameras pointing it at anything they wanted for Gaules to show. And when PGL said no to that, this is what happens. So this drama actually had an impact on the show, which I'm going to tell you about now, which you might not know. And I'm almost reluctant to say this because it goes against the good vibes. But there was a period of time where I don't know what was going on, but there was a Brazilian group of fans in the crowd, and they brought drums, and it was really cool. and they were having they were doing great work and contributing to a great atmosphere. Same as the Hornets. We had wicked, like, the atmosphere was absolutely stellar in the crowd. And again, by the way, I hope you were watching Brazil, because there weren't a single Danish team in the fucking stadium, and look what we got, right? And people got on one of the days, the drummers sat in the stands, and it was like close to where the mics were for the broadcast, and the drumming was really loud. And it was going out over the stream. And they sat in a place they hadn't ordinarily sat, and it was after this. And so I don't know if they did it on purpose, but what happened was they had been in a part of the stadium where the drums weren't getting picked up and weren't loud, and then they moved to a part of the stadium where the drums would get picked up because it was closer to the commentators. Yeah, it was behind Sponge and Machine. And anyway, it was coming over everyone was complaining about it, and it was coming over the broadcast. So I think security went up and said, we need you to move or stop drumming for now. But we can move you somewhere else when the game's over, but we sort of need you to tone it down. After the security did that, they immediately ran up the stands, and while Alex and Chad were casting, they were doing all of this to them, like shushing them and flashing. They took their phones out and were flashing their lights in their eyes, trying to get their attention and doing this. And I was like, boys, like, now listen, I don't think that happens without all this Gaules bullshit. And so what we did was everyone was kind of a bit weirded out by it, because we didn't Alex and Chad hadn't done anything. They were trying to cast the game. It was because of complaints on the stream. So then people were like, shall we stop drums? PGL were like, we could. We don't have to let them in. You know, just that's the Royal Arena. We can just say no instruments. And I went, no, guys, let's not do that. The Brazilian fans are being amped up, being told that we're against them. And if we ban drums, that's Exhibit A. Let's just be sensible about where we seat people. And let's make sure they don't get to be behind the casters again. And let them drum till their heart's content. And let them make a great atmosphere. And let's not fucking feed what Gaules wants to do, which is wind everybody up so everybody misbehaves and ruins the event. And so Alex and Chad, I thought, did incredible work in really difficult, like, weird circumstances, because I think the fans were blaming them when they didn't do anything. Equally, I don't think the Roaring Bears, or whatever they're called, would have sat where they sat and did what they did if they weren't upset about the Lamenia thing. And they wouldn't have been upset about the Lamenia thing if Gaules doesn't once again be an unprofessional piece of shit and show business emails. And you will notice he only reads out sections and he doesn't tell the full story, and it makes everybody think we don't want Brazilian fans at our events, which isn't fucking true. So this guy is cancer for the scene. He poisons everything when he doesn't get his own way, and fuck that energy. And I want other TOs to pay attention to this and start acting accordingly. Let's actually make, you know, everything that we're doing well. Sorry, I don't know who the Brazilian fans with the drums were called, but the Roaring Bears were there as well. This wasn't the Roaring Bears. I want to make it clear. It was definitely Brazilian fans, I think. So, you know, just crazy stuff that went on because of this. Yeah, I think it was a group of Furia fans, maybe. But again, I don't want to ascribe, like, them belonging to a group, because, as I said, it's not their fault. It's not their fault that their top streamer, like, lies to them and riles them up. You know what I mean? Like, it's not their fault. Like, they probably genuinely believed, like, we're trying to, like, you know, fuck with Lamenia and fuck with BT, and that wasn't what we were doing. So it's just Gaules again. The sooner he is done, the better for everybody. Like, even Positive Rich thinks that. So then the other thing, was I want to talk about Owner Pixel, because I know a lot of people have been waiting for me to, like, dunk on him or slate him. Now, his content will still never be for me, and I will still be doing impression of him an impression of him very soon on stream as part of my bespoke content request for the $100 patrons. So I will be rating all of the skins in a bad German accent looking like this. It's 100% happening. And yep, the whole Donna, yeah, I saw all of that stuff. But let's talk a little bit actually about Owner. They had the first media room next to the green room was Donna and Owner Pixel, and they were like live streaming there. I want to say they never overstepped their boundaries. They never attempted to come in the green room. They never harassed or accosted anyone when we were coming back from games or when we were between games. They really were very professional and very polite, and they didn't interrupt anything we were trying to do, even though they were right next door to us. And sometimes it would have been easy for people to forget that, to get the content or stick a camera in the green room without thinking about it. Never happened. And so I didn't know who it was at first. And when I picked up that it was the Pixel guys, I was like, here we go. And I walked out 2 nights. There was one night where they said, oh, you have to do an interview with us. And I said, I promise I will. And obviously then after that, we had the security incident. And then we were just told, like, unless it's necessary, we'll get you an escort, but, don't do any media work, just, unless you have to, and security will escort you or whatever. And so I was just sat in the green room and I didn't do the interview. And then on the second time I appeared on the stream, they got me on the last night, which was, as I was walking past, they were like, Richard. And it must have been the very last night. It must have been the end of the stream. I think it was post-final. And Donna said something like, sorry, I'm calling her Donna like she's a kebab. Donna said, do you love Owner? And I said, I don't know, do I? And then walked away, right? And everyone was like, yeah, that was like mega awkward. And I was just like, I don't know, it was just weird. It was just like, I didn't know what to say. I was really exhausted, been on this emotional roller coaster. And anyway, I got back and look, I wish Owner could be better in the sense that he has this huge platform now, and I know he hasn't, and I went through this, he hasn't leveled up to the reality that you never want to be a role model, but sometimes you just are, and you have to behave accordingly. And Owner doesn't get that. But compared to someone like Gaules, it's a no-brainer who's worse for the scene. Owner's relatively benign. He encourages stupidity. He doesn't encourage maliciousness. And so, again, I reflected on it because I saw that Owner he was like really desperate to talk to me and get me on the stream. And he was saying very complimentary things. And I had loads of Owner fans going, please, like Owner just wants to get to know you, and he really respects your work, and he's been loving you at the major. And I got bombarded with all that. So I did unblock him. He doesn't know this yet. He's finding this out now. I did unblock him. I'm not going to follow him. I will never need to read a single thing he says. I'm pretty confident that is true. But I think he likes my work enough to be deserving of the fact there's no reason to deny him updates to when I'm posting content. So I have unblocked him. And I think Owner Pixel, I don't know what his ceiling is in terms of content creation, contribution to the scene, general intellect, how he's going to cope when he's not as popular anymore, which will be inevitable one day. I wish he could focus more on making people aware about the dangers of skins and how it can be a gateway to something negative. And I wish he could balance his microphone correctly. But it's hard to go from being a regular guy who just likes Counter-Strike to being a top streamer. And I understand that. And I hope he understands now that he definitely needs to do better and help guide his young audience in the right direction. And so, if exposure to my content helps him do that, then it's a net positive for me to bury the hatchet. So I did bury the hatchet. And I would never bury the hatchet with someone like Gaules. I think what he's done might be borderline unforgivable. He certainly would at least need to apologize or feel some regret, which I don't believe he's capable of. Owner, on the other hand, at least seems to be someone who, at worst, is annoying. And that's probably not enough to warrant me treating him the way I have. So, even though he was spamming me with the unblock and getting fans to spam me to unblock him and all the other bullshit he's done, I have unblocked him, and I'm not going to I'm just going to let it lie. And that's that. Right. Final part. And the most important one. And I'm probably going to do a separate video on this, but we shall talk about the disruption, which really overshadowed the major. And there's so much to fucking cover with this. I'm going to do a separate video on it to do it justice. So this entire stream is just literally off the top of my head, brief reactions, and then I'll do something a bit more structured when I get time. So for those who didn't watch the major live, and maybe only heard about this secondhand, we actually had a stage invasion. It was about 8 or 9 people tried to breach the stage, while one person really did get through. And an incredible guy called Mihai, who works at PGL, who some people call him Gandalf, because there was an incident in Dota 2 where they were filming a live fish tank at a PGL event, and one of the fish died. And Mihai, who is this guy with long grey hair and a long beard, I think he looks more like Christoph Christopherson. He went in to get the dead fish out, and everyone in the chat was spamming like, Jesus is resurrecting the fish. Now, this guy obviously is hard. I'm just putting that out there. I got starstruck when I met him in the green room because he did a textbook leg sweep on a guy who was 6'5", about 280 pounds. He did a textbook leg sweep takedown for security. I even said it to him. I was like, wow, that was like textbook. Like, I'm so pleased to meet you. Thanks for keeping everybody safe. And he just went, yes, have a nice show. And just walked off. Like, just a legend. So, and like, even Launders was going, I've never seen Rich get like starstruck before. I was like, dude, like, he just fucking absolutely fucking did like, you watch that footage back, it's like, this guy's so much bigger than him, and he just took him down. So I was like, yeah, okay, all right, cool. And you look like a biker. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, does look indeed like he belongs in Roadhouse. But anyway, look, all joking aside, let's start with the reality of it. Oh, and as Jester says as well, and it's sad that this had to happen, but G2, I mean, dude, like, Pekka, Hunter, Nico, I mean, these people are fucking built different. Do you think they're intimidated by you running at them? Nah, you're locked in here with Pekka. Like, that's how that works, right? And he wasted no time. And listen, I hate to say it because I know this is like positive Rich here, but I'll be honest with you, if I'd been down next to the stage when that happened, I would have intervened to stop a player being potentially hurt, because of course I would. If you are threatening people or attempting to hurt people, and you are capable of stopping someone doing that, you have a responsibility to not make them do that. Now, I'm glad I didn't have to get involved, because it would have been hell in a cell all over again. But I'm going to just say straight up, it really shook up the mouse sports guys. It really did. And it probably impacted on that game. They were very shook. They're young. They should never have been put in that position by these fucking animals that attempted to destroy an event. But here's the thing. I saw a lot of Brazilian fans afterwards going, wow, if this had happened in Brazil, you would say we were savages and you would call for a ban in Brazilian events and all of this. And look, I'll just say this to Brazilian fans. There would never be a crowd invasion at a Brazilian event, because for that to happen, there has to be a crowd. So we're all good. But I'll also add this. This wasn't a random act of violence. This was a marketing stunt for a skins gambling website. I don't think anyone was genuinely at risk, no matter what that lunatic monarch says. And we'll talk about him in a moment. These people wanted to come on stage and they wanted to make the players feel awkward. and they wanted to disrupt the major, and they got all of that. But as soon as the security stepped to them, you will notice they didn't swing a punch. They didn't fight back. They were just losers. Plain and simple. Losers that took money to do something that now got them arrested and prosecuted. So I think this is a one-off situation, and the type of situation we will never see again at an esports event. So I don't think it's fair to blame, again, PGL for this. Thought the security handled it reasonably well until the big 6'5" guy managed to break through and the trophy got broke on his head. But the rest of it, I mean, you understand, this is 8 or 9 people rushing a stage. If this was a concert, no one would talk about it. It happens all the time. This was a sporting event, a pitch invasion. No one would talk about it. It happens all the time. Nobody says, oh, you can't ever host a football game again. Hundreds of people got on the field when they won their first trophy in 8 years. Nobody says that. But once again, it's PGL and it's esports. So everybody gets mega upset. So let's just get into the actual disruption itself, and thanks to everyone that's been giving me all of the videos and clips, and I might play these out of order slightly, and I apologize if that's the case. Audience members storm major stage during G2 versus Mouse match. Midway through the PGL Copenhagen quarterfinal match between Mouse and G2, a group of audience members took to the stage, putting a stop to the ongoing match. Security guards lining the front of the Royal Arena stage followed quickly thereafter, tackling and removing the audience members from the stage. A small group of audience members stormed the stage during halftime of the second map of the series in a stunt that was seemingly organized by CSGO Empire to draw negative attention to CSGO Roll, a rival gambling site. Now, I did a video about this stuff before. You guys remember this. In Paris, remember the Finnish guy? The insult, the disgrace to all Finns, who went and basically CSGO Roll, who sponsored G2, who I've called out, by the way. They did that cynical thing with Munisy, where on his 18th birthday, that was when they announced the sponsorship, and they did that video, and then they went to Paris, and the fucking guy glued his hand to this place you could do fake CSGO Roll openings, and he was going, CSGO Roll took my house, they took my house, and then he got thrown out. By the way, same guy, I think, turned up at a Vitality game later at Blast. They took my house. This guy's never owned a fucking house. Belongs in a home. He doesn't own a house. You dig? Like, complete nonsense. This guy fucking is turning up and shouting, and trust me, he doesn't own a house. 2 scenes I know everything about. Denmark, Finland, obviously, right? I don't know why it worked out that way. It should have been UK and America, but it didn't work out that way. Right? This is bullshit. He doesn't have a house. He never owns shit. He's doing it because this fucking guy, Monarch, who runs CSGO Empire, is paying him to say this shit. And by the way, it's mad that no journalist, you've got this guy's face, you've probably got this guy's name by now. Why don't you just look into his claims and debunk his claims? No one does that. No one. You will notice no one's publish all of their names. Shame them, dox them. I don't give a fuck. Once you attack somebody else or attempt to on stage in a public event, guess what? You're now the story. So when I say dox them, I mean you would not be protected in the press if you tried to fucking attack somebody else in public, would you? No, you wouldn't. They don't do that in crime. And this guy, the guy broke into this person's house and murdered the person inside. But we don't want to tell you their name because they'll get out of prison one day and they might but no, fuck that. Shame these guys. Do your job, journalists. Expose these people for who they are, and then you will realize that they are lying. They are lying. They do not deserve to be protected. They are lying. They are awful, awful people doing awful things for money, and I would think it's better for everybody that you know who they are, what countries they live in, so we can all keep tabs on them the next time they go to an event. Because let me tell you this other part that no one will know. I know that dox them clip's going to get taken out of context now, but whatever, fuck it. It's been a positive stream. If that's all the bad that comes out, that's fine. We got told the day it happened, we have been informed there's going to be an incident and that people are planning to rush the stage, right? And we were like, on WhatsApp. What does that mean? That there's just a group of people who are going to rush the stage. That's as much as we know right now. That's what we've been told. We're going to monitor it. Rest assured, we've doubled up security. And by the way, you can see that on the VOD. You saw there was way more security up front than there was. And we were just like, okay. And they said, it doesn't pose a risk to you. Their objective is to get on the stage. So, okay, fine. So we knew it was coming. And obviously, when it happened during the G2 game, we were like, all right. We did about as well as we could. We had PGL security and Royal Arena security working in conjunction. Unbeknownst to me, the guy who runs CSGO Empire, he kept having this countdown. And it said G2 9/11. And he kept resetting it. Now, I'm going to just say this. If you want to do a marketing stunt, that's one thing. If you want to protest CSGO role, that's another thing. You cannot make people feel unsafe, like their lives are in danger. That's where you cross a line, and it's an unforgivable line. And what I realized is as well, like, because in the past, this Monarch and me, we've had conversations, right? I don't know if he's been popping too many addies or something. He's fucking gone. On the stream, he was having like G2 9/11, and he had women dancing in the background as he did it. And then after this happened, by the way, kept saying there was going to be others. He kept saying things like, you haven't checked the roof. We're going to come in through the roof tomorrow. We have 70 Ukrainian sleeper cells in the audience for the final because FaZe are scammers as well. And we're going to get all the scammers. And I was like, bro, like, you're terrifying people right now. He apparently lives in the Philippines. So I'm going to just say this, like, there probably aren't going to be any legal reprisals for him. But for anyone who doesn't live in the Philippines, I hope you go to fucking prison. If I'm asked to testify about anything I know or anything I saw, I'm sending you all the fuck down. Like, believe it. I don't care if CSGO role fucking scammed you. You made 15,000 people feel fundamentally unsafe. I'm all in on that. I'll snitch you all out. I don't give a fuck. It was really weird. It created a really weird atmosphere. And I'll show you some of the clips because obviously, one thing before I show you the clips, I want to make it clear as well. We had a rule, like it wasn't going out on the stream. And again, credit to PGL. PGL didn't show it. They just cut away and they just said we're going to a break. And they didn't show any clips, didn't show any highlights. And then everyone in the crew was kind of shaken because they didn't know the full story. They just knew there was a stage invasion. We all saw the clips. It was Shocks and the secondary analyst team that had to close out that night. And it obviously affected them. Right? It affected everybody in the event. But I think everybody handled it really well. And we got together as a unit the next day. And originally the sentiment was, let's talk about it. And I said, nope. No. Let's actually not. Let's not include it in the highlights. Let's not include it in any of the chatter. Let's not even use the frivolous divine intervention line because it happened to G2 again. And by the way, it definitely worked in G2's advantage, ironically. Let's not put it in the broadcast at all because PGL didn't. That's what they want, and we're not going to give them what they want. And so we all agreed we just weren't going to do that. And we got a great semi-finals, great final, great story, and guess what? No one cared by the end, did they? So his little fucking G2 9/11 crusade didn't fucking do anything, didn't actually work in any way, and as we'll get to, actually is going to end up costing him money, reputation. The people who worked with him are going to go to fucking prison, potentially. Like, you fucking, you morons. You morons for even going along with this. You're letting a website that probably has scammed people. Again, we'll get to that in a second. You're letting a website that probably has scammed people and done unscrupulous things make you throw away your future, your life, to attack another website for doing unscrupulous things. It's just pathetic and no respect to any of you. But anyway, so these are some of the clips. I think the other crazy thing is this guy feels like he can operate with impunity. I don't know what the Philippines legal standard is, but he feels like he can operate with impunity because another thing he was doing on stream was he said, our original plan was to handcuff Monacy. So imagine saying that out loud, that was their original plan, which, by the way, would be conspiracy for, like, what, false imprisonment and kidnapping? Probably just shouldn't talk about it. But anyway, this is one of the vids.
Like, keeping it 7-5. I think it's still a thing you might have.
What's going on?
We have the top ranking Monacy, but not in it.
By the way, this guy about to come in on stage, right, is Mikai. Like,
I think it's still a thing you might have.
What's going on?
right, here he is.
We have the top ranking.
Do not fuck with him ever. Like, do not fuck with him ever, mate. Like, for real.
Monacy, but not an indomitable. Corsi is right there.
Look, there he is. That wasn't even the big guy. He just. Right, you're down, mate. Yeah.
Like, keeping it 7-5. I think it's still a thing you might have.
What's going on?
We have the top ranking Monacy, but not an indomitable. Corsi is right there.
Critical territory now.
Oh, I mean, again, also the big tough guy, the big hard man in the mask. That was also on the videos. You will notice he circumnavigated all of the security guards who had two hands out so he could go and push a cameraman. You fucking bitch. You fucking bitch. But I mean, look, he's not fighting. He's not fighting. He just submits immediately. Rolls on his back.
Here, so I think we're going to go to a short break and be right back when the game goes live.
The trophy gets mullered as well, I think. Yeah, there it is. Trophy goes here. Bang. I mean, to be fair, it looks like the trophy was made of Lego there. Like, front. I mean, the other fucked up thing about what, like, again, like, listen, if this is a marketing stunt, just say it's a marketing stunt. It still sucks. It's still ass. These people are still gonna get prosecuted. But Monarch said this guy who's on the floor right now is a murderer he met who just been released from a Finnish prison. But that's nonsense. That's utter nonsense. And Monarch is just telling lies to make everyone afraid. When this guy, in no way, there's no way you get out of prison for murder in Finland and within 2 weeks you're on a bus traveling to Denmark and doing this. There's just no way. They're just trying to make you terrified. And just ridiculous, frankly. So there was that. I think there was also, let me see. Oh, I think this is the drunk fight. That's not even related to it. That's the drunk punch-up. That's the your fat punch-up. But yeah, just to show you, it's just a fat rumble, dude. It's just not even a fight, is it? Like, just a fucking, just embarrassing. Like, just fucking 15 beers deep, fucking trying to swing punches without vomiting. Yeah, it's like, it's one of them. It's whatever. This, indeed, just to confirm it, this was on Kick. Monarch's Kick account got banned after this. So there it is. Copenhagen attacks pre-game stream. G2's 9/11 in a few hours. So that's kind of like the language that was around it. They were also doing these weird fucking, you know, uploading videos like you get in fucking UK drill where it's some guy with a mask on. If I see your blood, I'm going to murk your blood. G2 roll, I'm going to murk your blood. It was like that. It was like, what the fuck? What's this about? Like, you know. So we downloaded, we downloaded the VOD of him streaming on Kick beforehand, and like a bunch of journalists have it now, and obviously we're going to go through it. So yeah, you can see here he had these girl dancers behind him in the background for when the attack started. That's what that was. And Kick streaming allowed Monarch to stream for three or more hours while he openly discussed his plans to storm the stage at the major. At one point, a staff member appeared in chat and was only concerned about the Twitch restream. There needs to be some degree of accountability for that. And so they temporarily, like, fucking banned him. I don't know if he's back on the platform now or whatever. But then he went over to Twitch, and he was like, again, there was, like, a fucking clip where it was like him basically like realizing like no one actually gives a fuck. Like he had like next to no viewers. And again, just to show you, he unequivocally wants to take ownership for this and the way he framed it. You can see my kit got taken down when the heat started. Some of our men are on the ground in handcuffs, but we fucking did it, boys. And this is the whole thing. They put a blog out saying, G2, we have a message for you. The wars we wage. And it was just like, it's just insane mental illness. And it's a guy with a lot of money and he's paying other people to do stupid things. All I'm saying is, like, when I said, like, you know, dox them, I'm talking about find out who they are. Let's track them because they're going to go to other events. Why is that Finnish guy being allowed to go into multiple events? Why is that Finnish guy, where he was at the Paris Major? He's, you know, like, why he's at Blast? We know who he is. Why is he being allowed in? Like, it's fucking crazy, guys. Get their names and track them. Look on their tickets. Like, look at your ticket sales. Flag these names. You know, these aren't people who are, like, strangers. They'll have to get strangers. They'll have to put them up in the crowd, whatever they're doing. But, like, I want their names. I want to know who they are, where they're from, and let's ban them from esports events for life. You know, and also fucking report them to the authorities for fuck's sake. Like, it's actually crazy. Like, you've just jumped on. Right, I don't want to say too much because I'm privileged to see things behind the scenes. Those Mouse Sports guys were really shook. They were upset. And that's a team of young people, young adults that were playing in a pressure cooker environment to begin with. They shouldn't have to go through that. Because you're pissed off at a G2 sponsor. There are better ways to make your point. There are better ways to win hearts and minds. And I hope that not only do the Danish authorities throw the book at all of you, all the people who were on stage that day, I hope Valve take away the API finally and put an end to this madness. Because, listen, I'm going to try and be magnanimous here and just say this was actually a manifestation of everything I've been talking about for years. And that is that there are two things that are a problem. I don't have a problem with gambling, by the way. I'm not anti-gambling as a rule, but I am anti-skins gambling because, unfortunately, it cannot be monitored to the correct levels that most gambling websites will employ. And I've also said we're on a fast-track course to a stage invasion. And the fucked up thing about it is this wasn't even the circumstances that should have made us stand up and take notice. We had way more dangerous situations than this. We had Leipzig, DreamHack Leipzig, where a drunken fan walked up next to Yanko during a broadcast. That should have made us stand up and take notice. We had the funny Stunner Beach Ball thing. It's a beach ball today, it's something else tomorrow, right? DreamHack London, where somebody got behind this, like literally, as I'm doing a bit, they got through, they were behind, there was only a cordon between me and the crowd, and there was a fan there, and he was like pushing me in the back, and I turned around, and I said, oh, do you want to be on the fucking broadcast, mate? And yeah, guess what? He didn't want the smoke. So he went. We've got Olaf getting slapped with a fucking dildo. We got YouTubers going backstage to prove they can smuggle themselves in. We've had a million let-offs. And so enough's enough, guys. Now, I think anyone whining about security here, then you're missing the point. This was actually a massive W for security. Because we had an unknown amount of unspecified people all coordinated to rush the stage at the right time, and nothing bad happened. That's a miracle, guys. We dodged one big time. Because evidently, for all the posing and the posturing, they didn't really want to fucking hurt people. But now we know if they did, they would have been on that stage. They could have hurt security. They could have maybe even got to a player. So let it tick over. Let it percolate. But what fueled this was skins gambling. Please, please, please take the API away from these sites. End their millionaire monopolies, pathetic warfare bullshit. Let's get the skin cells where they belong, as far away from esports as possible. These people are junkies. These people are erratic. These people are dangerous. And these people are clearly willing to do anything for money. Let's get them out of esports once and for all. I don't care if it's a handful of websites that are doing this or all of them. Take away their API. And I will say this to Valve. If you're worried about, oh, we might lose money on this, I don't think Valve care, by the way. Valve remain the wealthiest company in the world per capita. Here's what I'll say. Valve, build your own skins gambling site into Steam. And don't let anyone else have it. And if you want to place bets with skins on games, you do it through Steam, and it stays in the marketplace, and we can stop all of this fucking madness ever happening again. And don't say case openings are the same, because they ain't. I know it'll be tough in Belgium and Holland and maybe the UK, but let's get rid of it, because it's poisoning what we're doing. This major should have been all positives. We should be talking about all positives, but we're not. We're talking about these stupid little incidents that, and this one big incident that happened because some fucking junky fucking skins gambling site owner has got some sort of paranoid schizophrenic reaction or whatever the fuck he's taking, to the point where he thinks it's appropriate to threaten an esports event with a 9/11 style atrocity. Nah, I'm good, actually. I'm good with skins now. To wrap up the incident, it's got a happy ending, because not only did no one care, CSGO Empire, because they're a skins gambling website and therefore have all this money and everything else they're doing, they had created a $50,000 tournament, online tournament, which was going to have a bunch of teams in it. And this is obviously, they announced it back in February prior to the major. I can show you the announcement. Here it is. And they bumped the prize pool up later, as these people are chronologically pointing out, to $500,000, because obviously money doesn't mean anything. You can see these are the teams that were there. Mouse NXT. How's my pair hanging today, dickhead? What a commercial there. Yep. Oh, is it it's testicular cancer month. Check your plums. It's like it's April. Why is it advertising Movember? Anyway, it's like it's advertising Movember. I don't even know why. Like, whatever. Mouse NXT, VP Prodigy. These are like the academy teams. Astralis Talent. Bleed are in there, like Sinners. We know those guys. Gamer Legion, Nine Pandas. These are already through. Havu, to all my Finnish contingents. And you go, okay, like this is something. But in the aftermath of what happened at the major, people started to pull out. They said, like, we're not gonna fucking be associated with this. And it was pretty vitriolic. Like, there was some insane tweets, like, going like CEOs and people, like, I'll show you this one. The guy from Sinners, the Sinners CEO, check this out for a positive, like, I don't really like it when you bring the heat when you're a CEO, but this is fucking straight fire. Like, fuck your tournament. We're out, you fucking scumbags. Fuck your tournament. We're out, you fucking scumbags. And that's 100% the energy. As I said, I want to know all of these people who they are, where they're traveling to, ban them for life. Journalists, get on that, please. It's not doxing when you're a journalist and you're acting in the public interest. Don't let the D word put you off from the internet. And I want all of these teams, yes, let's put our money where our fucking mouth is for a fucking change. And let's not support these negative fucking entities that are poisoning our fucking space, right? And so there was that they obviously weren't alone. That was just the best fucking tweet. That was just like the straight. Participants withdraw from CS:GO Empire Cup after major disruption. And here's all the people that withdrew. Mouse NXT. I mean, considering you invaded the stage while their fucking senior team was playing, yeah, guess fucking what? Sinners, Mouse, Nexus, Ents, Alternate Attacks, Havu, Permitter, and there's been many, many more since this was written. Obviously, as well, and again, this is another W, right? Another W for PGL. They put a statement out not long after it happened, and as I told you, they're gonna fucking actually prosecute. They said, our event experienced an attempted disruption. We temporarily halted the match to ensure everyone's safety. The individuals were involved were removed by the police. We'll be pressing charges against the disruptors. And not only that, as I said, the Danish police I saw at least 3 people. For context, when this happened, I wasn't in the arena. I was on the break. So I come in, I do my show, I bring Shocks in, and whichever 2 analysts are doing the show with Shocks, and then the hotel was just down the road. So typically what I would do in the break, I would walk through the stadium, sign things, go and get a bite to eat, have my lunch, essentially. And I did that, and basically I was in there when it happened and watching something happen that I didn't know about on the phone. So I was calling people up and asking what was going on. And all of the people that were working the event, everyone was held back until the police and the security went through and made sure there wasn't any more danger to the public. So everybody got held back. So I didn't even see the attempted I didn't see the people who were working, because when they attempted to leave, they couldn't get out. So I did see footage shared with me by people who didn't upload it on the internet that the police did have people in handcuffs, and they had them outside the venue and were putting them in police cars. So I don't know how many of the people who invaded the stage got, but I know people were arrested. And I also know that Monarch guy was going, I'm not going to pay you if you don't end up in handcuffs. Just to add as well, because I did say I would get on to this. I don't know why CSGO Empire are LARPing at being like these really good guys. It makes no sense to me, because they're not. And I saw an instance of this just today before I was doing the stream. They did a giveaway. So they were going to do a giveaway. They were going to do a knife giveaway. And then they didn't do it, or they hadn't given it away. And then they said, our bad. We'll make sure you totally get it. But what they do is they don't give you the physical knife. They give you the value of you can choose to have the value of the knife, and it goes on your balance. And obviously, if you do that, then you just gamble it away, because it's just money on a balance, right? And they know this, right? If you're a hardcore gambler and you never withdraw, you'll just keep rolling it and rolling it and rolling it. I've been around gambling enough to know this. I lived in Vegas, guys. I'm under no illusions about how gamblers can operate. And so, remember, these are the guys promoting themselves as being ethical, and they would never scam anyone. They would never do bad things, even though they've done scams in the past, and they publicly admit it and say, well, when we found out about the scams, we changed it. But now they're LARPing as being the ethical site. So this happened, this just sort of underscores how sad, crippling gambling addiction can be. So Empire were giving raw balance to gambling addicts instead of the knife if they won, and that is the exact type of predatory bullshit they've always done. They knew he was going to lose it all. It's easy for the giveaway. That's complete BS. Wake the fuck up, people. And this is a guy. I won my first giveaway yesterday, lost it all today. Locking my account from gambling. I'm a fucking gambling addict. worked. If you don't mind me asking, how? Wasn't the knife on TL? Got balance instead of knife. Trade was Photoshop. They had problems with the trades, so it was easier like this, but didn't want to change the giveaway. And this is a thing skins gambling sites fucking do all of the time, right? What they do is they offer you the money on your balance over the physical item. Because if you have the physical item, they have to go get it. They have to get it with a bot. It might not be available on the market. They might even lose money on the deal because it might be valued at this value they've set, and then the market might fluctuate and it might be valued up there. And basically, this is the type of thing they do. They say to people, oh, look, you can wait a few days for us to get the knife, or we'll give you the balance. Which would you rather have? And you're there clucking, you know, oh, must gamble. And so you take the balance. And they're happy to do that. They don't go, we shouldn't do that. They don't have any of the protections, by the way, like most modern gambling sites have, where they limit what you can deposit. They warn you before you deposit. You know, like, there's none of that there. Yet these are the fucking good guys, apparently. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's a total fucking LARP. It's a total LARP. And people need to wake the fuck up to that. So, the good news, as I said, no one was hurt. The skin cells didn't win, and ultimately, I think it was a good show, a good broadcast, and PGL handled all of the challenges that were thrown at them with class and expertise, and outside of the show match and a couple of tech problems, I think we're looking at one of the great majors. I was proud to be a part of it. I was proud to be invited to it. I am very, very pleased I went. I gave it my all. I left it out on the mat. I felt, honestly, awesome when I saw the Reddit thread where it had linked to my Twitter comment and all the responses I got. And all of them were positive, and even people who had previously been negative towards me and my work were saying, all right, you can have one more chance with me. Now, obviously, probably at some point going to say something that upsets people. I'm already thinking about deleting the VOD in case that docs thing gets taken out of context. Hopefully there's enough context on there. But the reality is, like, I needed the event. I wanted to do the best work I could, and I think I did that. I think that was like me at the top of my game, and I hope I gave enough positive energy out to everybody else at the event that we could like all be at the top of our game. And it doesn't stop there for me because, you know, I am coming back. I am going to host more events. I think we can get better. We can always improve. We can always do more. I'm going to work very closely. I think I'm going to work closely with PGL so we can like get to making the best desks in esports or close to. And I just want to thank all of the talent that were like super fucking kind and helpful and generous and welcoming, and all of the crew that were the same. Because I really needed to do this. I really needed this in my life. And I think it's going to make me better and healthier moving forward. I will also add to the person that just typed Dota 2, I have told Sylvie I am available to host his Dota 2 events as well if he wants. For the ultimate turn. So we will see about that. But for now, I'm just looking forward to be with all of the CS guys. I'm going to continue like the health kick. I'm going to keep trying to lose weight. And I'm going to be a bit more open and open-minded to, you know, working with, giving people chances and trying to be better myself and not be so negative and cynical and bitter all the time. So the content's going to be the same. I'm still going to take the same fights. I'm still going to talk about the same topics. But what I'm not going to do is be petty and mean-spirited and attack individuals when maybe they don't deserve that, and try and extend grace to them and maybe offer insight and understanding to them privately over tearing them up publicly for likes and clicks, which I don't think helps anyone.